season of accomplishment. It's win or go home in Hammond. The Illinois State Redbirds are in the Bayou to take on Southeastern Louisiana as the FCS playoffs get underway. You're watching the NCAA FCS Championship on ESPN. Hello from Hammond, Louisiana, where we welcome you to the first round of the FCS playoffs with the Illinois State Redbirds back in the bracket for a second straight season, visiting the Southeastern Louisiana Lions, who make their first playoff appearance since 2022. Winner here gets defending champion North Dakota State Bison, the record 10-time national champion NDSU Bison. And we welcome you inside the booth at Strawberry Stadium alongside the former Florida State Seminole and national champ Forrest Connolly. I'm Jack Benjamin. So 24 teams vying for a chance at a national championship. It all starts, though, with winning in round one. We've got a great test between two terrific teams to get us going.
Well, both of these teams feel disrespected. For Illinois State, they feel like, hey, we're in the Missouri Valley Conference. We play all of the juggernauts. We should be hosting this game. And then for Southeastern, they feel like, hey, nobody's respecting our schedule. We have won all of our games except one in FCS play. We're the rightful hosts of this game. So I think that sets up for an interesting matchup.
Well, Illinois State knows they have an absolute stud at quarterback in Tommy Rittenhouse, fourth nationally this season with 28 touchdown passes.
Well, the dual threat quarterback sets the tempo for Illinois State. He plays with poise in the pocket, but he's also dangerous on the move. He will make the defense defend every blade of grass this afternoon.
Sometimes they say if you have two quarterbacks, you have none. Not the case for Southeastern. Kyle Lowe and Carson Camp certainly make it work.
Well, Camp runs this offense. He reads defenses quickly. When the pocket stays clean, he picks you apart. And Lowe, he's more of a quick read scheme designed QB, and he plays that RPO game especially well. He can beat you with his feet and throwing the ball over the top.
So once again, it is playoff time in Hammond, Louisiana. First time since 2022 for the Lions. They have been successful of late at home in playoff games, have won their last three. Meanwhile, an Illinois State team back in the bracket for a second straight year, starting on the road for a second straight year. 56 degrees, partly cloudy, a little bit cooler than you would expect this time of year on the Bayou. Nonetheless, terrific football weather to get underway for the FCS playoffs and round one. So Seth Glatz is deep for Illinois State. Southeastern won the toss and deferred to the second half, so they will send it away with Alec Mahler, their punter, who also handles kickoff. Southeastern 9-3 out of the Southland. Illinois State 8-4 out of the Missouri Valley Football Conference, which had 6 bids this year. And away we go from Hammond as Glatz on the return is taken down right around the 20-yard line. And a good play made on special teams by Cameron Ford, one of the DBs for Southeastern. So we get to see this Illinois State offense on the field first, led by Tommy Rittenhouse. Spotlighted him off the top. A great story. Fifth-year senior from Geneva, Illinois. Had to wait his turn, but over the last couple seasons, he's led Illinois State to an 18-8 mark.
Illinois State wants to get on offense. They want to try and get it going early. Last week, they only scored 7 points in that game against Southern Illinois, so they want to get back to being comfortable offensively, and I think you'll see that early in this football game.
Their 10th all-time appearance in the FCS playoffs, 7th under current head coach Brock Spack. Rittenhouse to throw, and is hit a completion on first down. That is Dylan Lord, redshirt freshman from Chandler, Arizona, who has really come on of late, and a gain of 27 on the first play from scrimmage.
And this is what you cannot allow Rittenhouse to do. Sit back, go through his progressions, and get a good read. You see him right there. He's able to see the matchup that he likes. He's able to find Lord coming across on a deep crossing route.
Illinois State with tempo. Rittenhouse has to roll out, and along the sideline, that pass is incomplete. He was looking for Luke Maylander, and in coverage, Blaine Dele-Houssaye, the 6th-year redshirt senior corner from New Iberia, Louisiana.
And one of the things more interesting about this game is Southeastern does a good job of rushing the passer, but Rittenhouse does a very good job of throwing on the run, getting outside of the pocket. So look for that this afternoon. They have to continue to keep pressure and cover on the back ends when he breaks contain.
This is Wanker's right on second down, pushing the pile ahead. And he is just about to midfield on a gain of about 4. Peyton Anderson swallows him up, and it brings up 3rd down for Illinois State.
And this is where Southeastern wants to be, in a position where they feel like Illinois State has to pass the football. Now you can unleash those pass rushers. Look for Caleb Proctor, number 2. He's on the outside now against an offensive tackle.
They have been one of the best defenses in the country on 3rd downs this year. Empty backfield, Rittenhouse to throw. And on a slant, he's got his man, Daniel Sobkowitz. Pulls it in, has the 1st down, and he is catch number 229 of his collegiate career, 1 shy of the program record.
And the coaches talked about Sobkowitz and his ability to run that slant route. He does a good job of using his body at 6'3", 205 pounds to shield those defenders.
50th catch of the year. Off play action. Rittenhouse tossing, looking for Sobkowitz. He high points it, and he's got it. A flag is down. Zach Johnson in coverage. We'll see about the penalty marker, but Rittenhouse delivered that right where it had to be, and he's got an amazing connection with Sobkowitz.
Holding. Defense number 28. The penalty's declined. 1st down.
Jeff Pumphrey, our referee. It is declined. It was on Zach Johnson, who got beat for 37.
And you see Johnson tries not to give up a free release, but you've got to get your hands off of the receiver. So what you've got to do on the outside, if you're Zach Johnson, is try and get a good punch on Sobkowitz and not allow him to get that free release. He's got that big body, and you saw him doing a good job of high pointing that football.
That's what offensive coordinator Tony Peterson told us, partner, how good he is at high pointing the football. 1st and goal, Illinois State. The opening drive of this game. Play fake. Rittenhouse, he can run, and he will dive into the end zone, and Illinois State strikes first. A methodical 6-play opening drive. They march it down 80 yards, and Rittenhouse runs in his 7th touchdown of the season to put the Redbirds on top.
And this is exactly what the doctor ordered for this Redbirds offense. They only scored 7 points last week. They were shut out for 3 quarters in a game they thought they should have won. They said nothing went right. So I knew they wanted to get the ball early and, you know, kind of get themselves back into that rhythm that they had been in all season.
Extra point from Matt Maldonado is away and through. Illinois State, methodical in the opening drive. Took a little more than 2 minutes to get in the end zone. Rittenhouse runs it in, and the Birds in front early here at Hammond. Well, a great start for Brock Spack's group on the road. 17th season at the helm of the Illinois State program for the winningest coach in Redbirds history. He took them to the FCS National Championship game in 2014 where they fell by 2 to North Dakota State. Ironically, here they are in a spot where they could face the Bison in round 2 if they are to win here today. They also played the Bison in the 2019 quarterfinals, lost 9-3.
And what was interesting, when we talked to Coach Spack this week, we talked about last week's loss. He said, hey, Forrest, we didn't look at the film. We just let that go. It was a bad outing for all of us. We did some very uncharacteristically things that we don't do, and we just didn't. We just put that away, and we looked forward. And you see the results of that in that first drive.
Well, here's a chess move early from Illinois State. They don't kick it deep to Brandon Hayes, who has 2 kick return touchdowns this year and is tied for second in the nation with those 2. Cade Collier is the one who caught that little bit of a pooch kick. So a drive summary look at what Illinois State just did. 6 plays, 80 yards, a little more than 2 minutes for them, Parter.
Well, I like what they did. They softened up the defense going to the middle of the field, the deep crossing route to Lord. Then you started getting the ball out to your playmaker. We know Sopkowitz is the guy that they want to get the football to. And you see right here, they saw they had coverage one-on-one on the outside. He's able to high point that football. And then Rittenhouse to close it out with the ball fake, getting the defense to react and running it in for the touchdown.
On first down, Brandon Hayes is slipped up at the 25. And so he gets close to the line of scrimmage, lost about a yard, and it brings up second down. So Hayes was the guy we were talking about. They chose to not kick the ball to him, which you can't blame them considering he's got 3 career kick return scores, 2 this season. Carson Camp begins things, 6th-year junior. He is a native of Bloomington Normal, Illinois, which is right where Illinois State is located. That catch made by Jalen DiMaggio, junior from Lafayette, Louisiana, leads the team in catches. That's his 47th. And it sets up 3rd down and long on this opening series for Southeastern. Impact players both ways. DiMaggio was one of them that you were looking at.
Well, with Ty Nightcamp, he's one of those sideline-to-sideline guys. And Dawson, he's a downhill runner. DiMaggio, he's a go-to target for Southeastern. And Caleb Proctor, he is the man in the trenches, the player of the year in the Southland Conference. Not defensive player, but overall player of the year from a defensive line perspective. So you think about his playmaking ability.
Well, that's a big conversion. Camp finds DiMaggio. Those two have such a great rapport together. And DiMaggio has back-to-back catches on the drive. Southeastern converts the 3rd down.
And it was interesting when we talked to the coaching staff about DiMaggio. They said, hey, this guy looks like Megatron when you watch him on film. So we have to make sure we bracket him. We don't want to allow him to beat us up on the outside.
Camp steps up in the pocket, and he is taken down. Jake Anderson, redshirt junior from Davis, Illinois, makes the stop. He had his first full sack of the season last week. Garrett Steffen helping out. You can see the numbers on the season for Camp. 14 touchdowns against 4 interceptions. Now, he is a capable runner, but again, that is what they typically bring Kyle Lowe in for, and we figure to see him in a lot of packages today. Frank Selfo in his 8th season leading the Lions. This is DeAndre Jet Jackson. You can see why they call him Jet. He's got all kinds of wheels. He's to the 45-yard line and makes it a much more manageable 3rd down and 3.
And you see the track speed by Jackson on the outside. He accelerates extremely fast. He gets north and south, and he gets up the field. So if you're a defender, you've got to get on top of him. You can't allow him to get going because he's one of those guys that can hit the seam and be past you before you know it.
He was 2nd team All-Southland Conference this year. Gets 8 yards on that play. He led Southeastern in rushing this year, nearly 600 yards on the grounds. You saw Southeastern numbers this year on 3rd down. Illinois State trouble getting off the fields. And Brock Spack has no choice but to call a timeout.
Prior to the snap, first charge timeout, Illinois State, 30 seconds in length.
Well, there's the speed of Southeastern.
And the interesting thing about that, they had to call a timeout or that would have been a 1st down for Southeastern. You see right there, he's trying to get off of the field. Christian Lorenzo, you've got to pay attention and you've got to look and see what substitutions are coming in and out of the game because that's an easy conversion. And if you're Coach Spack, you're thinking, okay, if we can get a stop here and force a punt, now we put ourselves in a position to go up 2 scores. But if we give up this easy 1st down, now we help to extend their drive. So I think this was a good opportunity, a good time, to take that timeout and preserve not giving up an easy 1st down.
That's a great point. And Brock Spack has been doing this for a little while, nearly 2 decades, the helm of the Illinois State program, longest tenured coach, winningest coach in program history. We talked about that. Frank Selfo, meanwhile, 2nd longest tenured coach in Southeastern history. He's 2nd on Southeastern's wins lists and taking them to the playoffs for the 4th time. Carson Camp with a clean pocket. He throws underneath. That's a rare drop by Aiden Wilkinson, the sophomore tight ends.
And Wilkinson, you've got to help your quarterback out on that play. Can't put a little bit extra on that football, trying to make sure it got there, because there was some traffic around Wilkinson. But Wilkinson, you've got to help your quarterback out right there. Squeeze the football. Easy conversion for the first down.
So instead, they've got to punt it. Eddie Casper is deep to return. And the punter here is Jack Hunter, the lefty. They have two punters they use, both Jack Hunter and Alec Mahler. Hunter, a stand in the pocket lefty. Mahler, more of a rugby-style kick. And that one goes out of bounds after not much yardage at all. Only a 30-yard punt. Illinois State 7-0 on top and with the ball when we return after this. Back at Strawberry Stadium, the 16th seeded Southeastern Lions hosting the Illinois State Redbirds. Round one of the FCS playoffs. Tommy Rittenhouse and Illinois State, who scored on their opening drive, back to work as Rittenhouse keeps it off the option, and he finds Eddie Casper for a short gain. Stop made by KK Reno, who is the leading tackler on this Southeastern defense and was the Southland Defensive Player of the Year this season.
And the way you eliminate a strong pass rush is the quick pass game, and that's something that Rittenhouse is doing a good job of. He's getting rid of the football. He's not holding on to it.
Rittenhouse 4 of 5 to start. They run it here with Victor Dawson, and he backpedals and churns his way for a first down to the 34-yard line. Ian Connerly Goodley, who's a boomerang transfer. He spent last year at Troy after his first 2 years at Southeastern, makes the stop, but you can see the backfield duo of Dawson and Wright. They are tough to handle.
First down, 10, Redbirds.
You can see the power of Dawson to go with Wright and what he can do, how dynamic he is. It's Dawson again, looking for space to cut, and he is upended by Zach Johnson.
And you see the patience by Dawson. He does a good job of allowing his blocks to develop. You allow those linemen to get up the field with the tandem blocks. You allow your linemen to get off of that double team and get up to that second level defender. And when you've got a guy that runs behind his pads with the size that Dawson brings to the table at 5'11", 220, he's very difficult to bring down.
6-yard gain on first down. It is Dawson again, nothing doing that time. Swallowed up by Jakiri Jones. JUCO transfer from Georgia Military College, a Monroe, Georgia native. And it brings up 3rd down and 4.
And one of the things that Southeastern does is they play those star positions, Sha'Carri Jones and Cameron Ford, close to the line of scrimmage. Between those two, they've got 12 tackles for loss. So they will come up in the box, play in the box, and get behind the line of scrimmage with that blitz package to stop some of those runs.
Southeastern's defense, 12th best this year in 3rd downs defensively. Opponents converted only about 32% of the time. 3rd and 4, needing the 44. Rittenhouse looking over the top for Sobkowitz. It's incomplete. Zach Johnson running with him in coverage. He had a step and he missed him. Rittenhouse might want that one back, and it's 4th down and 4. Illinois State will send on the punting unit. As we look at the tail of the tape between these two teams, so Illinois State 8-4 record. They went 5-3 to tie for 3rd in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Pretty similar as far as points per game. Southeastern went 9-3, 9-1 though against FCS competition, and yeah, one of the best defenses in the country. Hayden Futch will punt to Dekai Joseph, who has 2 punt return touchdowns of his own this season. That is a long boot, and Joseph has to backpedal to his own 3 to grab it. Illinois State very good in coverage, and a tackle made by Dorian DuBose, the freshman from St. Louis, with a nice play on special teams. Southeastern backed up, down 7-0 under the midway point of the 1st quarter here in Hammond. Well, Southeastern is making its 6th FCS playoff appearance, 4th under Frank Selfo's watch. They hand it off to Jaden Henry on 1st down, and he has a nice gain. He is pushed back around the 12 after a gain of about 5 yards.
And a good job by Christian Lorenzo on that play to get penetration. The initial penetration allowed for the back to get stopped and not get downhill like he wanted to, and that allowed for pursuit to get there as well. So you don't always make the big play, but when you get back there and you affect the play, you allow your defensive teammates to get in there and stop the running back.
Carson Camp, jet sweep handoff. Brandon Hayes, he's got speed to the outside, and he has the 1st down. Hayes, we talked about his 2 kick return touchdowns this year of 88 and 85, and that time he runs it for 6. So they want to get the ball in his hands any way they can.
We saw Patrick Bauer trying to keep contained on the outside, but a good job by Hayes stretching that play, finding an area to get north and south to get that 1st down converted.
Southeastern rushed it for 260 yards in a rivalry win against Nichols in the Riverboat Classic last Thursday, 38-26. They never trailed in that game, and that was their 9th win of the year. Camp with a clean pocket on first down, and he's got a completion to Jordan Williams, a fifth-year senior, a Central Michigan transfer, his 11th catch of the season.
And that's what you want to do if you're a receiver for Camp. You want to find an open, a soft area in that zone, sit down, give your quarterback a target to throw to.
So we had yet to see Kyle Lowe in this game, who again came in as one of those two quarterbacks playing with Carson Camp. So far, Camp has begun efficiently, 3 of 4. Running back here is Jaden Henry. Off play action. It's Hayes again, the outlet man, and he is shoved down by Ty Niekamp, who is a finalist for the Buck Buchanan Award for the top defensive player in the FCS. That is enough for a first down to move the chains for Southeastern.
And the play I think we should look for as the game progresses is the quarterback draw. That play hurt Illinois State last week. DJ Williams, 20 carries, 134 yards, and the majority of those yards by quarterback DJ Williams was from the quarterback draw play. So I look for that play as this game progresses as well.
Camp looks right, and he has his man, DeAndre Jet Jackson, who is swallowed up by Reese Edwards, fifth-year senior from Springfield, Illinois. They recruit locally on this roster. More than half their players are from the state of Illinois, and of course a bunch from the surrounding states, Indiana, Wisconsin, etc. But Edwards is a good one. Third of the team at TFL's coming in. No gain, 2nd and 10. They go to the outside, and DiMaggio. They want the ball in his hands at all times. He's taken down by Anthony Corona, and a gain of 8.
You see, once again, Camp is going to get rid of the football immediate. He knows where he wants to go. With DiMaggio, you're going to get off coverage because of his ability to knock down those defensive backs if they try to get up in man and play him and try and get pushed at the point of attack. So they're playing off, so he gets the ball out to his receiver with the quick pass game and allow him to be an athlete in open space. He feels like he can win that battle one-on-one.
A couple of tight ends on 3rd down and 2, and Kyle Lowe, seeing his first action at quarterback, sneaks it ahead and gets just enough for a first down. Lowe is a transfer from Georgia State. He began his career at Middle Tennessee State, and this is something Frank Selfo's done a bunch over the years, is the 2-quarterback system. He's had a lot of guys do it effectively for him. Lowe stays in the game. Lowe last week, maybe his best passing game of the season, was 8 for 8 against Nichols, 47 yards and a TD through the air. He swings it out here. DeAndre Jackson with a seam, and Jackson is wrestled down into Illinois State territory. After a gain of 12, he's taken down by Dwyer. So we talked about Lowe, the runner, but he can sling it a little bit too.
Yeah, absolutely, and I like that pass out on the flat. That's basically an extension of the run game, and you're getting the ball to Jet on the outside where he's already going north and south, and you see the speed when he gets to the open field.
You can see Lowe's rushing numbers. He's their 2nd leading rusher on the season. And this is what he can do very well. The design run. He just finds ways to seek holes and just sort of cleverly get through the cracks. Corona brings him down. That looked like he'd be stopped for a loss. Ends up being a 4-yard gain.
And that's the play that hurt Illinois State last week. They did a good job right here. If it wasn't for Lowe being as elusive as he is and finding that seam you just talked about, Jack, they would have stopped that for maybe a yard gain. But that's a play that I know that they practiced and got prepared for defensively this week because of how effective it was against them last week.
Camp back in, down he goes. Anthony Corona, sophomore from Silver Lake, Wisconsin, gets his first sack of his career. It's a 6-yard loss and a huge play for this Redbirds defense. A defense that came in allowing a little more than 27 points per game. Middle of the pack in the Missouri Valley Football Conference, but again, that's the deepest conference in America. So Southeastern on 3rd and 12. Camp buying time on a crosser. That is complete.
And I like this play right here. I think because it puts them in a position to possibly go forward on 4th down. You're in no man's land right now. This is an area where you feel like, okay, we've got a chance. You don't have to get it all on 3rd down, but put yourself in very manageable 4th down.
Southeastern on the season, 10 for 20 on 4th downs. Kyle Lowe is the quarterback. Hayes next to him. They need the 37 to keep this drive alive in Illinois State territory. Play clock inside of 5. Lowe on a run. Lowe taking off. He's got a seam. Lowe hits the afterburners. And inside the 20, he's taken down. A gain of...
And then going back to that play that was successful against them last week, this is the same thing that Southern Illinois ran on them last week, that quarterback draw. And you see right there, you've got Lowe, his elusiveness on the outside once he breaks contain.
Oh, a mishandled snap. The ball is loose on the pitch. Now they're going to call that a forward pass and an incomplete pass.
Yes, because it was the shuffle pass.
It was a little bit of a pop pass, wasn't it? Hayes had it go through his hands. Brock Spack is saying, and he can't believe that. Watch this again. He's saying it was a handoff. It looked like it was just...
It almost looked like a jet sweep.
Now, had that been a direct handoff, that's a full-on fumble.
And the thing that's interesting is, Hayes, you've got to jump on top of that. You're trying to scoop it up.
Yeah.
You need to cover that ball up. It's first down. Cover it up. Protect the football.
So a break for Southeastern. And the play clock runs out. Flag is down. Yeah, they didn't get the play off in time. Unless a timeout was called, this is going to be a delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense number 18. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Well, that's a big-time mistake by Southeastern because you already cost yourself on the first down play, and now you back it up 5 yards when you're inside the red zone.
And you had momentum with that big play by Lowe to convert that fourth down, putting yourselves in the red zone. So they've got to get it back together right now. Once again, you don't have to get it all right here, Jack. Just get 5 to 6 yards. Put yourself in a manageable third down if you don't convert the first down.
34 seconds to go, first quarter. 7-0 Illinois State leads round 1 of the FCS playoffs. And Illinois State says Southeastern moved, and they did.
Mental errors.
Offense number 52. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That is on Noah Devlin. That's a 6th-year redshirt senior at right tackle out of New Orleans, playing in his 39th career game. You figure he'd know better. So mental mistakes costing Frank Selfo and Southeastern, and now it's second down and forever.
And that's a result of the pass rush right there. And that lets you know he's having some concern and some issues with that outside rush that he's facing. He's trying to get a jump.
On 2nd and 20, they swing it out, and a huge hit. Ball is out, and Jackson fell on top of it after a gigantic hit from Cam Wilson. 5th-year senior from Cedar Hill, Texas. Now they're calling it incomplete.
And you see what they're doing? They're disguising coverage. And what they're showing Cam is something different pre-snap than what he's seeing post-snap. And a good job by Cam Wilson coming up and making the play. They understand they want to go with the quick game. So if I'm Southeastern, I'm going with the double move right now because they're jumping these short routes.
Well, let's see if they can go to it. DiMaggio, usually their guy. Hayes also a deep threat. He is in the backfields. On 3rd and 20, they hand it off to Hayes, just trying to get some of that yardage back and make it a more manageable field goal attempt. As the clock will dwindle down here in this first quarter, Southeastern does not have to snap it. Dexter Niekamp, the younger of the 2 Niekamp brothers on this defense. We'll talk about that them a lot more as we go because their dad, Travis, is the defensive coordinator. Pretty cool dynamic on this defense for Illinois State. Field goal team is out there for Southeastern, but they won't snap it before the end of the first quarter. We'll switch sides. And the Lions will be looking at about a 40-yard field goal attempt from Guillermo Garcia Rodriguez when we return. The Illinois State Redbirds, after a quarter of play on the road, have a 7-0 lead here in Hammond, courtesy of an opening drive, rushing score from their quarterback, Tommy Rittenhouse. Illinois State 7-0 after 15 minutes here on the Bayou. First round of the NCAA FCS Championship from Strawberry Stadium in Hammond, Louisiana. Illinois State leading the 16th seed Southeastern 7-0, but Southeastern will start the second quarter with a 40-yard field goal try from Guillermo Garcia Rodriguez, 10 of 16 on the season. Mahler to hold it. And that kick is away and true. So well done from Guillermo Garcia Rodriguez, whose season long is 50. He's got a big leg. He transferred after a couple years at Prairie View A&M, where he once made a 54-yarder. And Southeastern does get points on that drive, but after you go 16 plays, you consider that a win if you're the Illinois State defense.
Well, I think for Illinois State, they consider that a win when you got the big run by Lowe to get them in the red zone, and then you have what we thought was a fumble, which was considered an incomplete pass, and 2 straight penalties, knocking them 10 yards back, putting them in 2nd and 20. You did your job, bend but don't break. Now, you don't want to give up a 20-yard, 30-yard run or 40-yard run, I think it was, on 4th down. But at the end of the day, you bent, but you did not break. So I think for Illinois State, they feel good coming out only giving up 3 points.
Now, how about a 16-play, 69-yard drive that took more than 7 minutes off the clock for Southeastern? A team that on the season is 18th nationally in time of possession. They typically possess about 4 minutes more per game than their opponents, so that's the way they want to play. Alec Mahler will kick it away. Marquand Gary deep out there with Seth Glatz. This one will go about 5 yards deep, and he thought about running it out, and will take a knee in that gold end zone, and the ball will go out to the 25-yard line. Well, here's a look at Daniel Sobkowitz and what he's done this season. One of the best receivers in the FCS.
Well, he's a big body receiver. He high points the football. He is a hand catcher. And he's one of those guys, once he catches football, he has contact balance. So you can't just think you're going to hit him and knock him down. He's going to bounce off defenders. He's a very difficult receiver to cover. And I don't think that Southeastern can continue to try to cover him one-on-one with Zach Johnson on the outside. Zach Johnson is only 6 foot tall. You're going against Sobkowitz, who is 6'3", and he's already shown that he can get past him in man coverage on the outside.
He's already got a 37-yard catch today, one of his 2 grabs. On first down, Rittenhouse rolling left, and he'll tuck it and dive ahead and get to the 29-yard line on a gain of 4 yards. Cameron Ford was the closest man to him.
And one of the things you've got to love about Rittenhouse, when he breaks contain, when he gets outside, he continues to keep his eyes down the field. So the defensive backs, you can't get caught up with what Rittenhouse is doing. You've got to stay on top of coverage.
Winkers Wright, the running back, on 2nd down. Rittenhouse swings it out to him, and Wright's got room to run. He's got a first down and more. Near the 40-yard line he goes on a gain of 10.
Now, the thing about that play, you've got Shakespeare Louis and Cameron Ford both out there defenders. They both overran the play, which allowed for him to cut back up in the alley. One of those guys has got to keep contained running to the outside, but one of those defenders has to stay inside and keep that inside leverage.
Rittenhouse off play action. Had a clean pocket initially. Now he throws it out of bounds, but a flag. Looking for Sobkowitz. Blaine Delahousse was in coverage. They knew it'd be a handful of covering Sobkowitz today.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 7, 10-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
So that's the veteran corner, Delahousse, who's playing in game number 40 of his career today, the 6th-year redshirt senior.
And I thought he had an opportunity for Luke Maylander on the outside. Maylander had man coverage on the outside. There was no safety help over the top. Maylander has really good size against the defensive back out there. I thought he had an opportunity to go to Maylander on that play.
That's already 3 accepted penalties on Southeastern for 20 yards. Illinois State yet to be penalized. Winkers Wright is met immediately at the line of scrimmage by Josh Randall. Southland Conference second team selection. 5 of his 5.5 sacks this year came in Southland Conference play. Southeastern was dominant against FCS opponents this year. They outscored them by about 27 points per game. Went 9-1. Only loss was a 2-point defeat in Beaumont at Lamar, who is a playoff team. They're playing at Abilene Christian today. Gain of a half yard, 2nd and 9. Against a 4-man rush, Rittenhouse wisely tosses that one over the head of Winkers Wright because he saw Ian Connerly Goodley, the safety, was right there. And if that ball's in the direction of Wright, it might go back the other way for 6. So 3rd down and 9. And now this is where Southeastern wants to be defensively.
In a name we have not called all afternoon, Caleb Proctor, the player of the year in the Southland Conference. What Illinois State is doing a good job of is double teaming him. They're not going to allow him to beat them.
Number 2 in green on that defensive front. 3rd and 9. Rittenhouse to Sobkowitz. He makes the catch. He is taken down by Zach Johnson after a gain of 5. It is 4th down. And let's see what Brock Spack and Illinois State want to do here. Probably a spot where he sent out the punting unit.
And a good job by Zach Johnson to close on that play and get Sobkowitz down. He gave ground. Sobkowitz went with the stop route, thinking he could turn around after the catch and try and make a play to convert that 1st down. But Johnson did a good job of making the tackle.
Hayden Futch has been one of the best punters in the country at pitting teams inside their own 20. Dekai Joseph, again, 2 punt return touchdowns this season. Very dangerous return man. He will wave this one as it lands over his head, and it dies near the 1. Could Illinois State keep it in bounds? They say no. The ball went into the end zone, and that goes back to the 20-yard line. So a 46-yard punt, but again with the 20 yards, only a net of 26. Southeastern back to work on offense. Early 2nd quarter here in Hammond. Round 1 of the SCS playoffs. Love it, but I tolerate it. The NCAA FCS Championship coverage continues next weekend with 2nd round coverage beginning next Saturday on ESPN+. For more information, visit ncaa.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. So here's how this portion of the bracket looks. North Dakota State, the top seed, the defending champs who have won 10 of the last 14 national titles. Winner gets them. And then UC Davis, the 8th seed, and of the Big Sky is awaiting the winner of Central Connecticut and Rhode Island. Rhode Island up 24-7 at the half at home. Dangerous pass is picked off. Oh, went right into the waiting arms of Mason Kaplan. He has his first career interception. The former quarterback, converted linebacker, picks off Kyle Lowe off the deflection, and Illinois State with a huge takeaway.
Well, you see what Illinois State did. They showed forward, then they walked the safety, LaChevion Brown up number 4 with a delayed blitz, and what that did was make Camp get rid of the football, I think, a little bit prematurely, and they've got a cornerback flying up to make the hit right as the safety's coming off the edge. So once again, they're showing something pre-snap, but something different post-snap. That's what you have to do. You have to show the quarterback something different than what he's actually going to see. And he thinks he has somewhere to go with the football, and it's not necessarily there.
Well, just like that, Illinois State gets the ball deep in Southeastern territory. Can they capitalize off the turnover? It's Dawson with room. Dawson cuts it inside the 10, and it's 1st and goal to go for Illinois State after a gain of 19 from Victor Dawson.
And a great job by the left side of that offensive line, opening up a hole, giving him the space that he needed to get downhill, and once the big fella gets going, it's very hard to bring him down.
Dawson again, this time tries the right side, and a nice tackle out in space by Cameron Ford, native of Memphis. The 5th-year senior brings him down. You know, last week we talked about this Illinois State rushing attack. They were held to 73 yards on 30 carries. Dawson himself was held in check for 25 yards total, but he was on fire prior to that.
And that's what you want to do to Dawson. You want to make him bouncy. You want to get him going east and west. When he's north and south, he's difficult to bring down. But when he's east and west, you allow pursuit to get to him, and he's not able to get those legs churning.
On 2nd and goal, a flag down as Dawson walks into the end zone for a touchdown, but there is a flag down in the backfields. So we'll see about that.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 11, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So prior to the snap, a false start on Scotty Presson Jr., one of the backup tight ends. 5th-year senior from Florissant, Missouri. And that is a crucial first penalty of the day on Illinois State. Wipes off what would have been a walk-in touchdown.
And right now, Illinois State is winning the battle in the trenches. Their offensive line is firing off with flat backs. They're getting movement at the point of attack, and they're continuing to double-team Caleb Proctor. They're not going to let Caleb Proctor beat them, and they're winning the one-on-one battles with the other offensive linemen.
Dawson in motion, empty set. Rittenhouse to throw. He's got a completion. It is Sobkowitz, and he's taken down by Zach Johnson.
And Zach Johnson is doing a good job on these underneath routes with Sobkowitz. I think the difficulty for Zach Johnson is when they go over the top with the vertical routes. That's where he has difficulty with the vertical route concepts. But on these underneath routes, Zach Johnson is doing a good job of attacking the receiver once he gets possession of the football.
Feels like a big play early on in this game. 3rd down and goal. Ball at the 7.
And it can't leave Zach Johnson alone on the outside. I think the safety needs to come over and help him.
Rittenhouse searching, rolling, lofts it, end zone, incomplete. Looking for Scotty Presson, his tight ends. Some good coverage all around from Southeastern. A couple of guys. Callan Moore got the pressure, and Zach Johnson in coverage again.
And Rittenhouse missed Victor Dawson in the flat. Nobody went with Dawson at the snap. I thought he had an opportunity to get the ball to Dawson, number 5, in the flat, and you would have given Dawson an opportunity in the open field to make a play for you. But maybe the pressure affected him, but I thought that was an opportunity missed by Rittenhouse.
Matt Maldonado, 10 of 15 on the season. He has had 4 blocked. This from 25. And that is no good.
And you have to wonder if those 4 blocked field goals and thinking about that had an effect on that attempt right there, because a lot of times mentally you start to think about that and you think about pushing it.
Now he misses to the right. Brock Spack's team comes away with nothing when they had 1st down and goal. campus of Southeastern Louisiana University, their 16th seeded Lions just got a big holds. A 25-yard field goal from Matt Maldonado hits the right upright. And Illinois State can't cash in off the crucial interception from Southeastern. That means the Lions go right back to work, down 7-3 with about 5 minutes off this second quarter clock. FCS playoffs round 1. Motion man's the tight ends in Collier, and Kyle Lowe is in at quarterback, giving off to Jet Jackson, who gets forward for about a yard. Actually lost a yard.
And Christian Lorenzo once again doing a good job of getting penetration up the field, not allowing for Southeastern to get to the edge.
Now Kyle Lowe still in at quarterback. He'll roll and throw, and he's got a completion to DiMaggio, who has his 4th catch of the day. And that is enough for a first down on a gain of 14 yards to Jalen DiMaggio, second team All-Southland Conference this year.
And you see the defense has to worry about Lowe running the football. They know how effective he is, and what Lowe does a good job is getting everyone paying attention to him and then getting the ball out to his playmaker, DiMaggio, on the outside.
Fresh set of downs for Southeastern. And Jaden Henry runs into a wall.
Now, something to look for because of the downhill action of those linebackers, Niekamp and Kaplan. I think Lowe is going to go with that RPO game and start pulling the ball out at the mesh point and getting around the edge, because these edge defenders are crashing down to stop the run. That's the dangers defensively that you have to keep an eye on when you've got a guy like Lowe in the football game.
Solomon Oduma on the stop that time. Redshirt sophomore from Fort Wayne, Indiana. 2nd and 8.
One-on-one in the B gap, quick. Get ready to flip those hips.
Henry still the running back. Here he is. He'll push the pile forward, but not for a ton. Gets 4. Sets up a more manageable 3rd down and 4. So Illinois State, a concerted effort early to stop the run. It's where Southeastern wants to be. One of the best rushing attacks in the FCS. 3rd and 4 for a team that on the season converts at a 41.5% clip. They need the 43 to move the chains. Low, rolling and throws, but shorter than the line to get. Aiden Wilkinson is tight ends, with Reese Edwards shoving him out of bounds after a gain of 2 yards. And a little bit surprising to see that route not get run to the sticks.
Well, what was interesting about that whole route concept is they ran it to the boundary side of the field, the short side of the field. I think you run that to the field side where you've got more area to operate and get guys downfield, more space for guys to possibly make a catch and turn and get upfield and make a play to convert that. But also, when you look at what Illinois State did on that play, they brought 7, so they brought more than they could block, and they got immediate pressure on Lowe.
Jack Hunter will punt to Eddie Casper. The lefty hits a shank. It's off the side of his foot, lands around the 30, and that one did not go a long way at all. 22-yard punt. Illinois State's going to get much more favorable field position than they figured they would have, leading 7-3 under the midway point of the second quarter. already a multiple of them are up. Well, FCS champions over the years. North Dakota State, of course, the dynasty still very well in play. Defending champs from a year ago. 10 titles in the last 14 years for the Bison, including a season ago, doing it with another coach in Tim Polasek. South Dakota State, though, had won the prior two. Their rivals, that Dakota Marker rivalry, back-to-back titles for the Jackrabbits. That was preceded by Sam Houston, who won it all in the spring season in 2021 under Casey Keeler. They are now up to the FBS level, as is James Madison, who won it in 2016 under Kurt Signetti, now leading Indiana to big things. And you go all the way back to Eastern Washington in 2010. So here's a look at the last 5 champs, of course. 2 North Dakota State, 2 South Dakota State. Nothing new seeing that. And of course, Sam Houston at the time was in the Southland Conference, which Southeastern is in right now. And at the half, we've got a lot more to get to regarding the NDSU dynasty, along with a bracket preview of this season's FCS playoffs. Winkers Wright is ahead for 5. And that's what Illinois State has pretty consistently done today, is get good yardage on first down, ripping off half the chains or even more than that sometimes.
And Wright embraces contact. And the coaching staff talked about Wright. They wanted to recognize his perseverance. He's dealt with injury throughout this season. And so they talked about him coming back in this football game and how proud they were that he continued to persevere and fight through it.
It's Wright, actually Rittenhouse that time, and he is swallowed up for a loss by Ja'Kyrie Jones. Gets his 7.5 TFL of the season.
And here's another opportunity for that pass rush to get after Rittenhouse. I expect him to go at the quick pass game. So I look for Southeastern to jump that short route, but also look for the double move on the outside. If I'm Southeastern, I'm making sure I've got safety help on the top, over the top with Sopkowitz when he's on the outside being covered by Johnson.
Watch 2, bottom of your screen. Rittenhouse hanging in, forces over the middle, and it's complete. And now they say no, they say it hit the turf. Looking for Dylan Lord. He was sandwiched by a couple of Lions, Ja'Kyrie Jones and Cameron Ford. And it'll bring up 4th down and 8.
And a good job by Jones jumping that route, understanding that they were trying to convert the first down. So what you're looking for the receiver to do is locate the sticks and at that point make his break. And a good job by Jones locating and knowing where the receiver is going to make that break and jumping that route. It's all about understanding route concepts and understanding where the sticks are. A good job by Jones on that play, the junior from Monroe, Georgia.
Hayden Futch to punt. Dekai Joseph, 2 punt return TDs this season awaits. He's already got the Southeastern single season record for punt return touchdowns. He won't get much of a chance to run it here unless he splits a double team, and he won't. He's down at the 20 with a flag. That flag was thrown after the tackle, after a punt of 44 yards. Scotty Preston Jr. makes the stop on special teams. And we will hear from our referee, Jeff Pumphrey, who's been a busy man in this first half, in a moment.
And that was a nice throw by the ref on that flag.
It was.
He got some good length on that.
Tossed that thing a good 10 yards.
Return. Holding. Return team number 24. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Tell you what, self-inflicted wounds for Southeastern, Forrest, in this first half and playing a costly role. How about 4 penalties now for 30 yards already?
And those 2 prevented them from possibly converting a touchdown when they converted that 4th down. It stopped the momentum on that big drive. So, and now you get the ball back, and the first thing you do is put yourself back deep in your own territory because of another costly penalty. You've got to play penalty-free football if you want to advance in the playoffs.
That last penalty on a true freshman in Kyrie Paul, one of their backup running backs. Look at the first down yardage comparison. Illinois State way ahead of Southeastern in terms of being ahead of the sticks on first down. Carson Camp rolls, deflected, and knocked down. That one was nearly picked off. Patrick Bauer, sophomore from Mount Pleasant, Illinois, has his 2nd breakup of the season. He actually had a pick 6 earlier this year at South Dakota State.
You see Bauer, he's just mirroring the quarterback right here. He's watching Rittenhouse's eyes. You see Rittenhouse wants to go with that quick outside pass, and he's doing a good job of just staying in front of the quarterback and jumping up and batting the ball down. That's what your defenders are taught to do. Mirror those guys if you can't get to them and get your hands up.
Camp pressure coming He steps up and buys some time. He's got his outlet man, Cade Collier, the tight end, who was all conference as both a tight end and a long snapper. And that is a gain of 12 yards to move the sticks.
And Bauer had pressure, and what Camp did, he waited till Bauer got there, sidestepped him. He's able to find his tight end in the middle of that coverage. That's what you have to do. Give your guy, create more time, create opportunities to get the ball to your playmakers. You've got to know wherever the rush is coming from, that's where the open space is going to be.
Camp now 8 of 11 as he points out his protections. Inside 5 to go in the first half. 4-man rush. Camp over the middle. Has himself another one of his tight ends. That's true freshman Lonnie Shin Jr., who's now caught a pass in 5 of his last 7 games. He's come along in a big way of late. Why not when you're 6'6", 245?
And a good job by Shin finding a soft spot in the zone, sitting down, giving your quarterback a big target. Right now, the middle of the field is where Southeastern is attacking. They're looking at those linebackers. Those linebackers are flowing to the outside and leaving the middle of the field open.
Camp to his left. He's got DiMaggio open, has him along the sideline, and DiMaggio fights for first down yardage and has it. It's a gain of 10.5 yards. Niekamp pushed him out of bounds, and DiMaggio already with 5 catches in this first half as he nears 50 yards.
And you've got Dorian DeBose out there trying to cover DiMaggio. He's got a 3-inch height advantage and a 30-pound weight advantage. So that's a 40-pound weight advantage. That's a tough cover for DeBose on the outside.
He's a tough cover for anyone, period, let alone DeBose.
Absolutely.
Camp against a 4-man rush. Steps up in the pocket. Looking around, and he will dive out of bounds. Anthony Corona, who's been a busy man at that weak side linebacker spot, makes the tackle after a gain of 4 yards.
And a good job by Camp, making them pay for not keeping good gap integrity. If you're Illinois State, you've got to play gap sound football. You've got to stay in your gaps. A lot of times guys see an opportunity to make a big play, but when you do that, you leave your gap unattended.
Jaden Henry, the running back. On 2nd down and 6, Sponmeier's screen, Jalen DiMaggio, Southeastern's leading receiver. And Henry tries to bounce it outside, and he is to the 46-yard line of Illinois State as Dexter Niekamp makes the tackle. So Frank Selfo's team trying to get something cooking and trying to burn off nearly all this first half clock as well. Remember, they do get the ball to start off the 3rd quarter. Kyle Lowe into the game at quarterback. 3rd down and 4. Hayes, the motion man. They hand it off to Henry. He breaks a tackle. Henry is loose, and Henry's got a first down. Well, he shed 1 tackler in the backfields. It was Bauer. The stiff arm did that, and he breaks loose for 10.
And you see the ability, he bounces it to the outside. You see right there the great stiff arm. He gets north and south, and he gets those shoulder pads down and falls forward. And that's all you can ask for. And a good job on the outside, not getting the holding penalty on that play. There's an opportunity for Bauer to make a play, but the offensive player did a good job of not grabbing and holding, trying to make that block on the outside, allowing the back to stiff arm.
2-minute timeout.
2-minute timeout here in Hammond. Southeastern down 7-3, but driving late here in the first half of this round 1 FCS matchup. Well, a beautiful day for football here in the first round of the FCS playoffs in Hammond, Louisiana. 70 degrees. Wind is blowing for sure. It's right around 10 to 15 miles an hour. Gusts have reached up to about 19 or 20. We mentioned already we got a bunch coming up for you at the half. But right now, Southeastern is driving. Kyle Lowe fakes the handoff. He throws in the flat to his tight ends. And that is Aiden Wilkinson brought down by Dorian DuBose after a gain of 2 yards.
And if it's a better throw, you're giving Wilkinson an opportunity to plant and get north and south and get up the field. But Wilkinson had to do so much to get possession of that football on that play. If you're low, you've got to get a better throw out to your tight end on the outside. Give him an opportunity to make a play in the open field.
A drive that began at the Southeastern 11. It's the 9th play. Carson Camp in the flat to Jackson. And he can't shed the tackle that time of Dorian DuBose, redshirt freshman from St. Louis. Gain of 5 yards. It brings up 3rd down and short.
And that's a great tackle on the outside from Jackson. You know Jackson is very elusive. He's got quick feet. He's got that quick twitch. So a good job by DuBose getting his legs and getting him down, not allowing him to convert that 1st down.
Now this may very well be 2 plays to get 3 yards now inside the final minute of this first half. Southeastern does have all 3 of its timeouts. Hayes the motion man. Camp fakes it to the flat and now has to just toss it underneath. And that's incomplete, so Steffen with pressure right up the gut in the face of Camp. There were receivers in the area. Now you're in 4th down and 3. You are with the wind. From here, you're looking at about a 46, 47-yard field goal. But again, it's 4th down and short. What's your mindset here, you think?
Well, you saw what Camp wanted to do. He faked the short throw. He wanted to go at the screen, the middle screen. But Illinois State did a good job of recognizing they got immediate pressure on Camp. He didn't have anywhere to go with the football, so a smart play by Camp to throw the ball down at the feet of his receiver where no one can make a play on it. I think here you look at the length of this field goal. The kicker's going to try and get a lot on it, so it may have a low trajectory. So I don't know if I try a field goal right here because they're going to have an aggressive defense coming after it because they say, okay, hey, if we don't get the block, you know, we still get the ball back. So I think right here you try and convert this. There's not a lot of time left on the clock, but I think you go at the play, a safe play. I look at DeAndre Jackson getting the ball out the jet in the open space. Allow him to be a playmaker. I don't think you can have a long play, a long developing play. It's got to be a quick play, but also like Lowe is the quarterback. The quarterback draw continues to be a play that I think is dangerous against this defense, and they have to be wary of as well.
Well, they are going to roll the dice again. They converted a 4th down in the first quarter. They're going for it again here. 4th down and 3. Needing the 26 to move the chains. Kyle Lowe is the quarterback. Jackson next to him. And Lowe on the keeper. Makes a cut, and he did not get there. Illinois State swallows him up right around the line of scrimmage. Garrett Steffen, first man on the scene. And the 6th-year senior from Altoona, Wisconsin, with a huge play for the Redbird defense.
And what I don't like about that quarterback draw is they tried to get it out on the edge as opposed to the middle draw. The middle draw is when they've been successful. You know, when you try and get it out on the edge, you see right here, they're trying to get it out on the edge. A good job with penetration up the field by Illinois State, by the linebacker, Nykamp. He disrupted that play getting up the field. But I think if you run the middle draw, you had an opportunity there.
So back to work for Tommy Rittenhouse, and you don't put anything by him in this offense with how quickly they can move. Victor Dawson with a crease, and Dawson not falling down, just shy of the 40. Picks up 9 yards on that 1st down run. Illinois State has 2 timeouts.
2nd charge timeout. Illinois State.
So they'll take their penultimate timeout here with 27 seconds to go. They have a kicker in Matt Maldonado who's long as 51, so you figure to give him a realistic chance, got to get the ball around the 35, 34-yard line.
When I watch Victor Dawson, he reminds me of Michael Turner. Remember Michael Turner that played for the Atlanta Falcons? He's one of those big, sturdy guys that just doesn't go down by initial contact. He's such a contact runner, a guy that can run over defenders.
Now, last 3 drives for Illinois State, they have gone punt, a missed chip shot field goal, and another punt. You know, you mentioned bringing up running backs who Victor Dawson reminds you of. We were talking with offensive coordinator Tony Peterson, who coached for a little bit at Minnesota. He brought up Lawrence Maroney, who of course was great with the Patriots.
Absolutely, same type of runner.
Similar type of runner.
They just are contact runners. They run through contact. They have great contact balance, and they run with really good vision.
Rittenhouse, empty set. He feels pressure. He finds Sobkowitz, who was upended by Shakespeare Lewis after a gain of 8. It is a first down for Illinois State. Clock will momentarily stop. And now run.
And these safeties need to get more depth.
Inside 20 seconds. Rittenhouse, sideline, Sobkowitz. Those two are just always on the same page. They are inching towards field goal range. Ball to the 43 on a gain of 11 and a timeout again.
Timeout, Illinois State.
And there's too much cushion being given up by these defenders on the outside. I understand you want to keep everything in front of you, but you've got to be weary and understand there's not a lot of time left on the clock. They're trying to position themselves to get in field goal range. It's knowledge of the game, knowledge of the clock, knowing what they need and what they're trying to do. Look at all of the cushion. You're giving a 10-yard cushion, and then you're bailing at the snap of the football. So now all they've got to do is get past the sticks, turn around. The clock is going to stop while they move the chain, so they've got the option to either get to the line of scrimmage or call a timeout. I think you've got to be a little bit more aggressive. I understand you don't want to give up anything over the top, but you can't give a 10-yard cushion and bail at the snap of the football.
That's a great point. You saw Matt Maldonado, their kicker, warming on the sideline. He did miss from 25 yards earlier, but he has a season and career long of 51. That was back in September against North Alabama. So to give him a realistic chance, you figure they probably need about maybe 10, 12 more yards. Rittenhouse against a 5-man rush. Rolls right and tosses out of bounds into the southeastern sideline with 6 seconds left.
And Jake Pope got away with the hold on Joshua Randall, number 44 on the outside. Randall complaining right now to the officials, but Jake Pope definitely got away with the hold, the left tackle on the outside.
Well, that's a big missed call. You can see Randall adjusting his helmet and jersey, and he's going to come off the field for this second down play. So 6 seconds to go in the half. Illinois State is out of timeouts.
And the safeties need to get depth. You cannot allow anything to get on top of you, allow those receivers to get past you.
4-man rush. Rittenhouse hangs in, and down he goes. Evan Aubrey, the redshirt freshman from Ontario, Canada, now 4.5 sacks on the season, and that will take us to halftime in Hammond.
And the key to that is Aubrey is the person that came in to replace Randall on that play. A good job by Aubrey, making a big play when this defense needed it to close out the half.
Southeastern picked a great time for its first sack of that first half, but it's Illinois State on top at halftime here at Strawberry Stadium. 7-3 Redbirds on top of the Lions in this first round NCAA FCS playoff matchup. Well, it's gone already. This is one of the best.
The Ivies. That's easy.
Hey, Joe.
Halftime here at Strawberry Stadium in Hammond, Louisiana. The lead for Illinois State over the 16th seed, the Southeastern Louisiana Lions, is 7-3 as you're watching the NCAA FCS Football Championship. Well, some storylines to get into with the FCS playoffs this season. Of course, the Missouri Valley, as always, sending a lot of teams to the playoffs. Most Missouri Valley Football Conference teams ever with 6. How about the Ivy League making its playoff debut, both Harvard and Yale in the playoffs this year?
Well, the brawn is beating the brain right now. We're talking about 80-21 combined score right now with 38-7 Villanova over Harvard and 42-14 Youngstown State over Yale. It's tough outings right now.
Well, hey, still impressive for them to get into the bracket. Good on the committee to allow the Ivy League to play. NDSU, of course, continuing to dominate. They've won 16 straight games. They are the 1 seed. They're the defending champs, trying to win an 11th title in the last 15 years. And 5th time we've had undefeated teams appearing in the tournament. So this bracket shaping up to be a very good one. Got a couple of enticing first-round matchups going on today as well. Probably none better than this one that we have here. A little bit lower scoring maybe than we were expecting. 7-3 Illinois State on top of the 16 seed Southeastern Lions. The Missouri Valley Football Conference and the Southland squaring off here at Strawberry Stadium. More from halftime after this. Halftime in Hammond, Louisiana. First round of the NCAA FCS Championship. Illinois State leading the 16-seed Southeastern Louisiana 7-3. Well, the reigning FCS national champion North Dakota State Bison are looking to keep their undefeated streak going and finish with another title, which will be their 11th in 15 years. It's a championship run unmatched in the sport. Here's Matt Schick for more.
Under 20 seconds to go. Kaminsky going up top. Intercepted at the goal line. Missouri Valley Football Conference champions for an 11th time.
For North Dakota State, the FCS playoffs is a rite of passage. For the 16th consecutive season, the Bison are playoff bound. And for the 16th straight year, they'll begin their championship quest on their home field.
No surprise that the Bison are here again. The formula really has not changed for this powerhouse program.
Even in its Division II days, North Dakota State was a force to be reckoned with 5 national championships from 1983 to 1990. But it was nothing like this. Since moving up from Division II in 2004, green and yellow has been the gold standard.
The first FCS title in North Dakota State history.
10 national championships in a 14-year span, including an unprecedented run of 5 straight from 2011 to 2015, building not just a dynasty, but an empire.
The first team in FCS history to win a 7th national championship.
The sign of a dominant program isn't just scoring points and causing turnovers, but withstanding coaching turnover. From Craig Bohl to Chris Kleiman to Matt Entz to Tim Polasek, North Dakota State hasn't missed a beat.
And the North Dakota State dynasty stampedes forward.
And they rarely get beat. The Bison have played in 56 FCS playoff games. Their record, 51-5. And they're once again ready to defend their national championship, something they've successfully done 6 times.
The Dakota dynasty lives on.
Oh, it has been a remarkable run in Fargo, North Dakota for the Bison. The winner of this one that we have here in Hammond, either 16th seeded Southeastern or Illinois State, will earn the right to play the defending national champion and 10-time national champion North Dakota State Bison next Saturday at 1 Eastern on ESPN+. Central Connecticut in the 9th seed, Rhode Island on the bottom part of the bracket. Of course, Tim Polasek in his first season a year ago, leading the Bison to a national championship. A team that has actually faced off against Illinois State a couple times over the years in the FCS playoffs. 7-3, Illinois State leads it over 16th seeded Southeastern. Highlights and stats from the first half after this. Halftime in Hammond, Louisiana. First round of the NCAA FCS Championship. Illinois State on top of the 16 seed Southeastern, 7-3. More coming on the way. First half stats and highlights from Strawberry Stadium after this. Halftime in Hammond, Louisiana in this first round NCAA FCS Championship matchup. The Illinois State Redbirds from the Missouri Valley Football Conference leading the 16 seed, the Southeastern Louisiana Lions, out of the Southland 7-3. And Illinois State got going on its opening drive at Tommy Rittenhouse up top to his best target, Daniel Sobkowitz.
Well, when you've got the big play receiver on the outside and man coverage, you go to him. And then right here, Rittenhouse did a good job of faking like he's going to throw the football and getting the ball over the end zone for the touchdown, that early big drive. Here, to me, was the biggest play for Southeastern. The fourth down conversion, the big run by Lowe. I think that's something they need to go back to, that quarterback draw, but then the big play on defense, getting the ball up in the air and the turnover. What they did was keep them out of the end zone on that drive.
How about Mason Kaplan getting that pick? And then Carson Camp got it flowing a little bit in that first half. Southeastern did add a field goal down the stretch to make it 7-3.
And they've done a good job of keeping this offense in check. DiMaggio, the big play receiver on the outside, they're talking about him looking like Megatron, a great-looking kid, but he has been held in check so far by Illinois State.
5 catches for DiMaggio, 6 for Sobkowitz, the two star receivers. The time of possession heavily slanted in favor of Southeastern, but Illinois State in front, 7-3. They've been more opportunistic in this opening half. As we welcome you back inside the booth at Strawberry Stadium, the Florida State Seminole national champ Forrest Connolly and Jack Benjamin with you. We're kind of where we thought we would be in terms of a close game. I don't know that we saw 7-3. We figured it would be maybe a bit of a shootout here at Strawberry Stadium. What do you think now makes the difference in the second half?
Well, I think Victor Dawson is a big difference maker for Illinois State. He, like I said, he looks like Michael Turner to me when he's running the football. This guy runs behind his pads. When he he gets going downhill, he's been very effective, averaging over 7 yards a carry. But I think on the other side, Southeastern, you've got to get Lowe more involved. That quarterback draw, the middle draw. I thought they made a mistake on that last fourth down where they tried to get him to the outside. I think the middle draw is where he's most effective because you've got Niekamp and Kaplan flowing downhill. You've got to go against that downhill flow with that quarterback draw. So it'll be interesting, the adjustments that they make at the half.
We saw Kyle Lowe and Carson Camp complement each other very well down the stretch in that opening half. We'll see what happens in our final 30 minutes of regulation. Long way to go. Illinois State 7, Southeastern 3. Second half in this first round FCS matchup comes your way next. Welcome back to the first round of the NCAA FCS Championship here in Hammond, Louisiana. The 16 seed Southeastern trailing Illinois State 7-3. The Redbirds out of the Missouri Valley Football Conference, who sent a record 6 teams to the FCS playoffs this year. They have the lead courtesy of a touchdown on their opening drive. Jack Benjamin, Forrest Connolly, our entire crew with you. Southeastern won the toss, deferred to the second half, so they will get the ball here to start off the third quarter with Maldonado kicking away to the dangerous Brandon Hayes. 2 kick return touchdowns this year, but with the wind, able to sail that one over his head for a touchback. And so Southeastern will begin in this third quarter from their 25-yard line. Now, in that first half, we saw both quarterbacks for Southeastern as expected. Carson Camp went 11 for 15 for 82 yards through the air. And then Kyle Lowe, 4 of 6 for 29 yards through the air. He did throw an interception. He also rushed it for a team-high 32 yards. It is Camp to begin the third quarter with Jaden Henry next to him. This year, when trailing at the half, Southeastern 0-3. They'll have to flip that script if they want to move on to round 2 of the FCS playoffs. Camp on first down, and right up the gut comes Ty Niekamp for the sack. Buck Buchanan Award finalist for the reason He gets home for his second sack of the season.
And Niekamp came through untouched. The offensive line have to do a better job of reading. You see they're doubling on the outside, so the center has to understand that the left guard can pick up that interior rusher. You've got to keep your eyes on the middle linebacker. The center always identifies the middle linebacker. He has to do a better job of picking him up.
After that big loss on the sack, it is Henry pushing the pile forward, trying to get back to the initial line of scrimmage. And he gets about 4 yards as Niekamp makes the stop again. Well, there are the two star wide receivers. DiMaggio, 5 catches for 45 for Southeastern. His season high in catches is 7. Sobkowitz, 6 grabs for 71. But he's had a big catch for 37. The long for DiMaggio in this game so far is only 14, so they've kept him under control. 3rd down and 12. Carson Camp over the middle, wide open man is his tight end Lonnie Shin Jr. How about the true freshman with a 2nd catch today to tie a season high in receptions?
And a good job by Camp recognizing his own coverage. Shin runs right by both linebackers. Niekamp and Mason Kaplan are standing there as well as Dexter Niekamp, and he does a good job of locating it.
Oh, dangerous pass is picked. It's Shadwell Kuba II. He's going the other way and out of bounds into Southeastern territory. It's a 2nd Illinois State takeaway here at Strawberry Stadium. And this time it's Kuba who has his 5th pick of the year to lead the Missouri Valley Football Conference.
And a bad decision by Camp throwing off of his back foot. He did not have enough on that football, and the ball floated on him. Watch Camp right there throwing off of his back foot. You cannot do that. You've got good coverage underneath by Kuba, and that is a bad job, a bad decision by Camp to let go of that football, throwing it off his back foot. There was nothing on that football.
Kuba had 4 picks in their first 4 games. That's his first one since September. It sets up Illinois State in Southeastern territory, and Wankers Wright is pushing ahead inside the 35 and down to the 33-yard line as Caleb Proctor makes the tackle for Southeastern.
And KK Reno had an opportunity to make a play in the backfield, but Wright broke that tackle. You've got to square up and make the tackle when you get the opportunity to make a big play.
After a pickup of 4, 2nd and 6. Motion man is Lord. Rittenhouse fakes the handoff. Pressure coming on him, and he throws on the run to Luke Maylander. Redshirt freshman from Elmhurst, Illinois, has his first catch of the day and a 1st down for Illinois State.
And watch what Rittenhouse does. He continues to stretch this play to allow his receiver to clear coverage, and once he clears coverage, then he delivers the ball. He did not allow the pressure to affect him. He knew where he wanted to go at the football, but he had to allow the receiver to get across the field and clear all of that coverage.
Maylander didn't have a catch against Southern Illinois last week. Had a reception in the first 11 games of the year. They motion, pressing the tight ends. Wankers Wright falls ahead for maybe half a yard. Back to the line of scrimmage. Josh Randall there to swallow him up. So turnovers playing a huge story in this game now. 2 of them on Southeastern, both on interceptions. You can see Illinois State in that first half, more than 4 yards a rush. For the season, they average about 4.5 per carry. They were middle of the Missouri Valley Football Conference in rushing, but that's one of the best leagues, the best league in the country. Wankers Wright, nothing doing. He is slung down. Well, they got to him quickly. KK Reno combining with Jakiri Jones. It's a loss of a yard.
And a good job by the Southland Defensive Player of the Year, KK Reno, getting pressure up the field, getting penetration, making him try to bounce that to the outside. That's what you have to do. You've got to get penetration in those gaps. Don't allow for those backs to hit those seams they're looking to hit.
3rd down and 11 for Illinois State. They need the 14 of Southeastern. Rittenhouse on a crosser. That's complete to Sobkowitz, and he lunges ahead for a 1st down. Needed 11, got 13, and down to the 12 for Illinois State as Zach Johnson makes the tackle. Sobkowitz has his 7th grab.
And Illinois State is taking exactly what the defense is giving him. When they see pressure coming from the middle area of that defense, that's where the receiver is breaking to a good job on that quick slant route.
Hard to believe Sobkowitz was a former walk-on in this Illinois State program. Wankers right in the backfield. He goes right up the gut. He is reaching to the goal line. No signal, touchdown. Wankers right in for 6. And Illinois State extends its lead to a couple of scores. They go up by 10 early here in the 3rd.
And good blocking at the point of attack. They're getting good movement right down in the trenches and getting up to those second-level defenders. Wankers right almost went in untouched on that play. Great blocking scheme and a great job by the offensive line.
His first touchdown since October 4th against North Dakota State. 22nd of his career. He is among Illinois State's all-time leaders in rushing scores. This play is under review to see if he indeed crossed the goal line. For now, it's an Illinois State score and a 10-point lead. They'll take a look. We'll be back after this.
After further review, the runner's right elbow is down with possession of the football at the half-yard line. The runner made the line to gain. It will be 1st and goal at the half-yard line.
So down at the half-yard line is the call. Let's watch this again in Wankers right and watch the elbow.
And that was extremely close. You see right there where the elbow is down.
Oh.
I thought it was one of those where it was inconclusive, where you couldn't, you know, it has to be conclusive to turn it over or to change the call as it was called on the field.
We'll see if the second time's the charm. Inside the 1 on 1st and goal. It is Wankers right again. He's pushing towards the goal line. Didn't look like he got there. Southeastern stood him up. Ja'Kyrie Jones leading the way. Junior from Monroe, Georgia.
You see right there, you're getting pushed, but not enough push at the point of attack. And a good job by Jones pulling back and using his upper body strength to keep Wankers right from crossing over the goal line. Now it'll get interesting if they can get a stop right here on 2nd down.
Right still in the backfield. 2nd and goal. This time Rittenhouse keeps and has to just toss it away. All kinds of pressure coming right up the gut from Evan Aubrey. The redshirt freshman's been in the backfield a bunch.
And I don't like that play. I think you get Victor Dawson in the football game. He was been the power back. I mean, Wankers right has done a good job of getting them down here, but I think now you get fresh legs, get a bigger back in the game, and Victor Dawson to get him downhill. I don't like throwing the ball down on the 1-yard line because to me you're telling your offensive line, we don't believe in your ability to get us 1 yard.
Crowd getting into it here at Strawberry Stadium. 3rd and goal. Motion man is Sobkowitz. Hand off to right. Over the left side. No, sir. He's stuffed again. That time, Kellen Moore and Evan Aubrey combining, and it's 4th and goal.
And Aubrey holding at the point of attack. That is all you can ask for. He's using all 6'4" of his length to hold at the point of attack. And how huge would this be if they get 4 stops inside the 1-yard line?
Ball at the 1. 4th down and goal. They've been stopped 3 times. Rittenhouse hands off. They flick it around, and Sobkowitz throws to Rittenhouse for the touchdown. So they go to the trickeration. Sobkowitz, a touchdown pass to his quarterback, Tommy Rittenhouse, who reels in his first career receiving score. And after all that, Illinois State stuffed 3 times, twice on the run. They convert with their quarterback catching it, and they go up by 10.
And that was a special catch by Rittenhouse. That was not an easy catch. That was shaky. He did a good job of gaining control of that football. You see him kind of shaking his head, walking towards the sideline, but that was a tough catch. Sobkowitz put a lot on that football, maybe a little bit too much, but watch Rittenhouse on this catch. He does a good job of keeping his eyes on the football, concentrating, knowing, I've got to make this play. There's nobody here. He kind of just tosses it out there, and Rittenhouse grabs it and squeezes it, brings it to his body for the touchdown.
(14-3), Illinois State pushes their lead over Southeastern, the 16 seed, just 2 scores on the road. Sobkowitz, the wide receiver, passing to his quarterback Rittenhouse to cap off a 10-play drive. And the Redbirds on the road looking good. Up by 11 as Maldonado gets set to send it away to Brandon Hayes. The dangerous Brandon Hayes has not gotten a chance to return one yet today. Wind is blowing heavily in that direction, and he still will not get a chance as it goes through the end zone for a touchback. So Illinois State, who began the game with a touchdown drive, starts off the third quarter with a touchdown drive as well, and it all started off of the interception by Shadwell Kuba.
And bad decision by Cam throwing off of his back foot, giving the ball back to Illinois State, and then you've got the Winkers Wright drive. Winkers Wright got stopped on those 3 downs, and then here, a great play call, and I love the way Sobkowitz just tosses the ball out. He didn't try to throw it with perfect precision. He just tosses it over, and his quarterback makes a big play for him.
Jackson is ahead for a couple of yards on first down. So Sobkowitz, I mentioned earlier, by the way, it was actually his third career touchdown pass. He has had a couple of these over the course of his career, but again, for Rittenhouse, first time he has caught one in his career. So Sobkowitz can certainly throw it, and he's shown that over the course of his career. Now 2nd down and 7 for Southeastern as they try to respond. Carson Camp in this offense, and that's incomplete. Looking for DiMaggio with a flag. It's on LaShavion Brown.
And that's a dangerous throw, Jack. You've got a lot of traffic in there, so you've got to be careful if you're Camp. There's an opportunity, once again, you're giving to that defense, throwing the ball and that traffic, because if the ball gets popped up, there are a lot of defenders there.
Pass interference. Defense number 1. Ball be placed in the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
That's actually Shadwell Kuba who they get for the penalty. So he follows up his interception with a penalty there, and Southeastern moves the ball to the 35.
And I still look for some double moves. You've got these defensive backs jumping these short, quick routes and these in routes. You've got to get some double moves, take advantage of their aggression.
Kyle Lowe hands it off. DeAndre Jet Jackson motors ahead for 4 as Christian Lorenzo makes the tackle. So we near the midway point of this third quarter. Southeastern down 11. They have moved the ball in this game, but again, 2 interceptions and 4 penalties have really been their undoing thus far for Frank Selfo and company.
And I think, once again, the way that they get aggressively up the field is an opportunity for that QB draw, something that hurt Illinois State last week.
Hayes in the flat. He's a speedster, and he's got the outside. Hayes in a foot race, tiptoes the sideline. Hayes is out of bounds. He's going to race into the end zone. They'll say he stepped out, but you can see the speed of Hayes as he races ahead down the sideline for 20.
And this is an extension of the run game when you're able to get the ball to your back, to your jet sweep action type of receiver on the outside in the flat. Watch right here. You've got Hayes lined up in the backfield. He gets to the outside in the flat. And once he gets the ball and gets north and south, it's very difficult. He's able to get to the edge. And those edge defenders have to do a good job of trying to turn him back inside where pursuit is coming from.
Kyle Lowe, designed to run. And that time sniffed out well by the Illinois State defense. LaShavion Brown and Garrett Steffen. Lowe lost a helmet, so Camp will check back in. As we're inside 7 to play in this third quarter, with Illinois State on top 14-3. First round of the FCS playoffs. This is only the 2nd ever meeting, and we mentioned this off the top. These two met in 1980 in Normal, Illinois. That was a 28-21 Southeastern road win. 45 years later. I'm not doing my math properly. They meet again. Carson Camp, screen. It's Jackson. Tries to shake a couple of defenders. And Niekamp simply would not let go of his ankle. He's been doing that for a long time, since he was in diapers, you could say, because of his dad, Travis, who's taught both he and his younger brother, Dexter, everything they know about the game of football, and of course is now the Illinois State defensive coordinator, was a former Redbird linebacker himself.
And the thing that's interesting about Niekamp, 6'3", 240, we know how effective he is downhill, but he impresses me with his ability to play sideline to sideline as well.
On 3rd and 6, Camp with pressure, feels it, steps up, and throws it right into the hands of Niekamp. He will stroll down into Southeastern territory. It's a 2nd pick thrown by Camp, 3rd interception today for the Illinois State defense. And the Redbirds respond again. Niekamp gets his first pick of the season and 5th of his career.
And if you watch what Niekamp did on that play, he flowed to the right side, and then he read the receiver coming across on the short crossing route, and he changed directions and flowed back across the field with him. I talked about that prior to that play. That's what's impressive. As much as he is effective coming downhill, playing old school square chin football, he does a good job of playing sideline to sideline, reading the quarterback's eyes.
Tommy Rittenhouse in Illinois State. Right back to work offensively. There is Sobkowitz, taken down by Ian Connerly Goodley, who was a key piece for Southeastern to get back after he left for a year for Troy. Played his first 2 years for Southeastern. Sobkowitz now, by the way, up to 8 catches. Rolling towards 5 to play in the third. This is Dawson. Right up the middle and near the first down yardage. He'll get 4.5. Ahmad Bradley brings him down.
And I think this is a must-stop drive for Southeastern. They've got to get a stop on this drive. I don't think they can allow the Redbirds to score again.
Not going to happen there. Dawson is just so explosive. You can see the way he turns those legs. Came in again as their leading rusher. A year ago, Wankers Wright was their leading rusher. He's battled a bunch of shoulder injuries, a few other ailments as well, but you can see the explosiveness of Dawson. He's got it again, trying to bounce it outside, and runs into Khaled Moore, who makes the tackle after a gain of 3 yards.
And you see the patience that Dawson runs with. He allows the blocks to develop. He plays off of what his linemen are doing. Now, the play may be designed to go one way, but he reads those blocks very well, and he's a fall-forward contact back.
He falls forward that time, but not for much.
And that's the way you have to get him down, Jack. You've got to hit him low. When you go high on Dawson, he'll run over you. A good job on that play by Jakari Jones to get Dawson around the legs to get him down.
Timeout for injury.
Well, that's not a good sign for Illinois State. That's Jack McGarry, their center. He's a Missouri transfer where he spent 3 years and didn't play. He has started 11 of the 12, now 12 of the 13 games this season for Brock Spack at Illinois State and has been tremendous.
And the thing he does a good job of is climbing up to the second level, covering up those second level defenders, those linebackers. So he will be missed if he's not able to get back in the ball game.
That's an offensive line for Illinois State that has had to do a lot of shuffling throughout the season. McGarry, of course, new to the center position, his first college action, and that's not good. Seeing him not put a whole lot of weight at all on that leg. Braden Jellison is their backup center. He has started 3 games this season, so they have a little bit of experience there. Let's watch this again and see if he gets rolled up on. That's always the danger with offensive linemen. And you can kind of see that right leg.
And one of the things as an offensive lineman, you want to try and keep a low center of gravity. You want to keep your feet moving. That's why you always hear offensive line coaches telling their linemen, keep your feet chopping, keep your feet moving. You want to get your feet up out of there to try to avoid getting rolled up on from the backside.
I know you went through your fair share of bruises over the years, partner.
Absolutely.
3rd and 6. Big play in this game. Rittenhouse, sideline complete. And that is Eddie Casper for a first down. KK Reno pushed him out. And it just feels like Rittenhouse always knows where he wants to go with the football.
Well, that's a great matchup for Rittenhouse. When you've got your slot receiver being covered by the middle linebacker, you expect your slot receiver to win that battle every time. So a good job of identifying the best matchup possible for him and getting the ball to his receiver on the outside. KK Reno was right there, but that's just not a favorable matchup for him.
Victor Dawson in the backfield next to Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse will keep it. Looking to throw, and that is behind Scotty Preston Jr. That's one of the few missed throws he's had in this game today.
Well, Rittenhouse wanted to go down the field with a vertical route, but they did a good job of covering that vertical route on the backside by the defense, number 7, Blaine Dalahuse. And so what he tried to do is get the ball to the outside at the end of that route to Preston, but you've got to give him an opportunity to make it. He threw it behind Preston. Preston couldn't reach behind him and grab that football.
2nd and 10. Nearing 3 to go in the 3rd. It's Dawson right up the gut. And the ball comes loose. Southeastern's got it. The Lions had to do something defensively. They force a fumble and hop on it with Zach Johnson. So after they had given away 3 interceptions, Jakiri Jones forced it out. And Johnson hops on top of it, and that was just what the doctor ordered for the Lions there, partner. 14-3 Illinois State. Southeastern, though, gets a huge turnover late in the 3rd. watching the NCAA FCS Championship on ESPN. Back in the late third quarter stages here in Hammond, Louisiana. Southeastern back to work after forcing a huge fumble on Illinois State. And Jaden Henry able to rumble ahead to the 12 for a gain of 7 yards. So Illinois State had the ball inside the red zone. They got it down near the 5, and then a fumble that was recovered by Zach Johnson for Southeastern, and Frank Selfo's team gets a little bit of life back. Now they got to capitalize on the offensive ends. You can see the turnover margin +2 in favor of Illinois State because of 3 interceptions. Low lofting, looking for DiMaggio. Lots of hand fighting. Shadwell Akuba step for step out in coverage. All right, another look back here at the fumble by Dawson.
Let's see, Dawson gets through the hole. He's doing a good job of covering the football up. But right there, you see the rip out on the play by Jakari Jones. A good job of ripping that ball out as Dawson is going down. And that's exactly how it's taught.
A Southeastern defense that had to make a play, they did. Now their offense has to deliver. Lowe decides to keep, and he plunges ahead, maybe got half a yard. LaShavion Brown, a transfer from Hutchinson Community College, makes the tackle. And this is a spot where if you're Southeastern, you got to put this ball away.
And that's demoralizing right there for the defense that goes out and makes a big play after what was looking like going to be another scoring drive by Illinois State. And then your offense only goes out and gets 3 plays and gets the ball back to them. So that's kind of demoralizing. You've got to do a better job to help your defense, not only to allow those guys to feel good about the big play that they just made, but you've got to get them some rest as well.
Jack Hunter, much better punt this time towards Casper. It bounces into Illinois State territory around the 44-yard line, and it's a 44-yard punt. Well, to your point, Southeastern, they get a play like that finally from their defense, who frankly haven't played badly today. They've just been on the field so much, and they can't capitalize.
And they get tired, you know, and one of the players that we continue to mention, but we have not called this name, has been Caleb Proctor, the player of the year in the Southland Conference. Illinois State had a game plan coming in, and the coaching staff told us, we're going to double team him every play. We're not going to allow him to be effective, and they've done an excellent job so far.
Winkers right, the running back next to Rittenhouse. From the 44, and Wright ahead for 3. Bradley and Reno on the tackle as we tick down inside the final 90 seconds of this third quarter. Illinois State on top of the 16 seed Southeastern 14-3. Winner here gets defending national champion, the top seed North Dakota State, who have won 16 straight games, including a perfect 12-0 this year. Rittenhouse. Time to throw all day, in fact. Now he rolls, and he'll tuck and be bumped out of bounds by Jaray Johnson Jr., redshirt sophomore from New Orleans. Gives him a little hit. It's 3rd down.
Rittenhouse is a tough kid. I hope he's going to be okay. It looked like he ran into the bench over there, but once again, a good job doubling Caleb Proctor, not allowing him to get any pressure. A good play by the defense. You hit him, he's still in bounds. And your teammates have got to help you. You can't let your quarterback run into the water jug over there. You got to get over there. Come on, man. You see your guy coming over there.
The power and core can't be the last line of defense. 3rd and 5. Final minute of the 3rd. Winkers right, taken down. And that's the stop Southeastern's defense desperately needed. Proctor and Ford combined to bring them down. They do force the 3 and out. And a punt upcoming from Illinois State. They do not have to snap it before the end of the 3rd quarter.
And I like the way Ford was able to diagnose that play, get through the traffic to help make the tackle on that play. That's what your star position needs to do. You've got to be able to diagnose where the football is going. They tried to go at the screen pass. A good job getting through the traffic to make that tackle.
So Southeastern will watch this clock run all the way down. In the 3rd quarter, it comes to a close. The Lions down 11 on their home turf, trying to find a way back in this round 1 FCS playoff matchup against Illinois State. Well, some of our impact players we were watching entering this game between Illinois State and Southeastern in this round 1 FCS playoff matchup. Ty Niekamp, 10 tackles, another multi-tackle effort for him, 8th of the season. Dawson's been good. DiMaggio, 5 grabs. Proctor, though, still waiting for him to show up defensively for Southeastern.
Well, they've done a good job of staying on top of Proctor, doubling him up, not making his life very easy. But Niekamp, to me, has been the standout player so far defensively. And that interception, the way he read that back, flowing to one side, reading the back, coming across on the short crossing route, and then changing direction and getting in front of that football. I thought that was an awesome defensive play by Niekamp.
A punt from Hayden Futch to start off this fourth quarter is a line drive towards Dakai Joseph that goes out of bounds right around the 10. So Southeastern will take over there after a 44-yard boot. And this offense, which has been stuck in neutral since their only scoring drive, which came back in the second quarter, finds itself down 11, early stages fourth quarter, at home as a 16 seed in this bracket, and the interceptions have been the biggest problem. 3 of them today between the 2 quarterbacks.
Well, some of them costly. Right here, I think throwing off the back foot. Camp knows better. He shouldn't have done that. And then, once again, watch Niekamp on this play. He's flowing one way. He reads the crossing route. He comes back, and he makes the big play defensively. I thought that was kind of a game changer right there.
Below finds Jackson. That's a good way to start off the drive. It feels like they haven't been very successful on first down of late. That's a good start to get going here as you look at the most interceptions in a playoff game in Illinois State history. So meanwhile, last year they won in Cape Girardeau at SEMO. They had 5 picks. Today in Hammond, they have 3 picks. How about that back-to-back round 1 games?
And that lets you know defensively how much they bring pressure, and they're doing a good job of reading the opposing team's quarterback and making it very difficult on them to pass the football. Now, one of the things that's interesting is when we step into this fourth quarter, net rush yards for Illinois State is 100 yards on 26 carries. For Southeastern, 103 yards on 25 carries. In total yards, Southeastern has 51 plays for 246 yards. Illinois State, 49 plays, 247 yards. So it's been basically an equally played game as far as yards and yards per rush. But like you said, the turnovers have been the big difference, and Illinois State is converting those into touchdowns.
Camp to his tight end, Cade Collier. And he's got 7 yards. I call it about 6.5 as LaShavion Brown makes the tackle. So it brings up 2nd down and 3.
And you have to feel like right now this is a must-score drive
100%
for Southeastern. They've got to put points on the board, and it needs to be 7, not 3.
Their last couple drives have ended via interception. Jaden Henry trying to bust a big one. And he's across the 35-yard line to the 36, and a gain of 9 yards. So the pass game and the run game starting to work off each other. Southeastern with another first down. We tick down inside 13 minutes to go. Southeastern's largest deficit overcome to win a playoff game, 24-7 against Villanova back in 2019. That was the first team that Frank Selfo took to the FCS playoffs. He is 3-0 at home, coaching the Lions in his playoff career. Camp with pressure. Flag is down in the backfield, and Camp has to scramble out of bounds as he picks up 4 yards.
And
Again, there's a flag.
Well, the problem with that, Jack, is you're rushing through. You're dropping 8.
Offense number 65. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
You're dropping 8 back into coverage. You should be able to block 3 with 5. So that's an issue. They've got to do a better job. Watch number 65 right here. You've got to keep your feet moving. He's leaning over. You've got to keep your feet moving. You've got to be a dancing bear on the inside. You've got to dance. If you see him beat you around the edges because you're not playing with a good base, you're not sliding, you've got help. But you've got to keep your feet moving to center. When you see your guy getting beat, you shade to that side and help him out. But 5 against 3, you need to be able to block it up and give your quarterback time.
A fake to Henry. Low tossing. A lot of hand combat along the sideline. It's incomplete. They were looking for DiMaggio. He was stride for stride with Shadwell Kuba with blanket coverage. Those two have been going at it all day long.
Now, a couple of things on that play. I thought Lowe had more time to wait to allow DiMaggio to get on top of the defensive back a little bit more to be able to use that big body on the outside. DiMaggio has a 2-inch height advantage over him and a 30-pound weight advantage, so I thought he had more time. But because of the pressure that these quarterbacks have seen with that 3-man rush, I think he got rid of it prematurely.
On 2nd and 20, Lowe checking his progressions. And he's got Collier on a check down. And a gain of 5 yards. Lashavion Brown is there for the stop.
And there was an opportunity right there once again for Lowe to look for the vertical pass game. But what Illinois State is doing a good job of is showing one defense pre-snap and dropping into another defense after the ball has been snapped. So you'll see a 3-man front, they'll drop 8. You'll see a 4-man front, they'll drop 8 and bring one of those guys that's up on the line of scrimmage back into the mid-range in coverage. But then you'll see a 3-man front, and then they'll bring 5 and drop 6 in the coverage.
Good throw from Lowe. He's got Kentrell Prejean. And a first down for Southeastern. Prejean knows a thing or two about winning in the FCS playoffs. He won a national title with South Dakota State a couple years ago.
And that's a good job right there. Recognition by Lowe and a good job by Prejean getting down and putting himself in a position, finding a soft spot in the zone, making himself a target for his quarterback. That's what you have to do as a receiver. Find a soft spot.
9th different Southeastern line to catch a ball today. And meanwhile, nowhere to run for Jackson. He is taken down by Corona and Lorenzo, and a loss of a yard. That Redbirds rush defense has been up to the challenge today.
But one of the things these linebackers are doing a good job of, they're getting skinny, which means they get down in towards the line of scrimmage, towards those offensive linemen, and they turn their shoulders to get skinny and don't allow those linemen to get good hands on them to block them.
8 stuffed runs today. Impressive stuff from Illinois State. 2nd and 11.
They're showing 6 at the line of scrimmage right now. And you see Niekamp dropping over. Now they're going to change and shift to something different.
It is Jackson. Now they're continuing to stay with the ground game. Only a pickup of 2 yards. It's been a tough sledding to run between the tackles for Southeastern.
But you see how they're showing them one defense, shifting to another. So you think, as an offensive lineman, you're reading what you're seeing and thinking you know your blocking assignment, but then they shift to something totally different. So as an offensive lineman, you're thinking, okay, that is not my assignment. I need to figure out where I need to go. And while you're trying to figure it out, these guys are getting downhill.
3rd down and 9. Southeastern needs the 43. It's caught by Jackson, and he is smothered by Dorian DuBose. The redshirt freshman from St. Louis, another huge play in the backfield. And it brings up 4th and long.
And you see Jackson frustrated. He's arguing with his tight end, Lonnie Shin, on the outside. But once again, you've got guys confused with their blocking assignments because they're seeing one formation pre-snap. They think they understand what their assignment is, and they're shifting right as the ball is snapped. So you're trying to figure out where you need to go, what your assignment is, and they're getting upfield, and they're able to diagnose what the offense is trying to do.
4th punt today from Jack Hunter. Sends it away to Eddie Casper, who waves for a fair catch right at the 11. A 39-yard punt. Illinois State's lead is still 11. How about Dorian DuBose devouring Jackson in the backfields? Having some fun afterward, too. Redbirds in control here in Hammond. Back at Strawberry Stadium in Hammond, Louisiana. First round of the NCAA FCS Championship. Winner of this one between Illinois State and the 16-seed Southeastern gets top-seeded defending national champion North Dakota State. Central Connecticut down 8 to Rhode Island late in the fourth. The 9-seed but driving. Winner there faces UC Davis in the portion of this bracket. Wenkers Wright in the backfield with Tommy Rittenhouse. Wright gets the handoff and charges ahead for 3. And we just found out, partner, earlier, Yale was down 35-7 at the half at Youngstown State. In their first ever FCS playoff game, they came back to win 43-42. So if Southeastern fans are thinking this is over, far from it after what the Bulldogs just pulled off on the road.
Well, you talk about going in at halftime and getting a game plan together, and you see what an Ivy League team can go do. They can go and change it up, and they turned it all the way around to come back and win that game. What a huge win for them.
There's Caleb Proctor. He gets to Rittenhouse in the backfield. First time we've seen him make an impact today. And that is his 9th sack of the season, tied for the second most in a single season in Southeastern history.
And you see Proctor there running a twist on the outside, and he twists to the outside, and he reads Rittenhouse, and he sees that Rittenhouse is trying to sprint outside, and he does a good job. You see the speed by the big fella, 6'3", 280 pounds. That's why they project him to be an early Sunday pick to play on Sundays.
He's already been invited to the inaugural NFL and FCS showcase in Nashville in January. It's Wenkers Wright running it, and he won't get much on 3rd down and 16. So Caleb Proctor, who can change a game, may have just flipped this game with that play right there. Again, he's the number 9 FCS draft prospect per Jordan Reed with us at ESPN. And he showed why right there, a Buck Buchanan Award finalist for the top FCS defensive player.
When you've got a player that can get to the outside with that size, that can read and diagnose plays, he for sure has an opportunity to play at the next level, and I think he's one of those guys that will shine when opportunity presents itself.
Southeastern has blocked a number of punts this year. No one gets to fudge that time. And here is Joseph. And he's taken down. The punt and kick return coverage has been very good. 41-yard punt, loss of 1 on the return. Southeastern ball down 11. Getting late here in the fourth. (14-3) Illinois State leading the 16-seed Southeastern, getting late in the fourth. That is a look at Travis Niekamp, Illinois State's defensive coordinator. In his 8th season, his 2nd stint working at his alma mater, was a linebacker back in the 90s, and he actually worked under Todd Berry back in the day. His 2 sons are leaders on the defense. Of course, Ty Niekamp, Buck Buchanan Award finalist, 13 tackles today, and Dexter, his youngest son, has 6. Carson Kemp and Southeastern back to work. Another deflection, another interception. Right place, right time. Mason Kaplan has number 2 today. A former quarterback at Valparaiso Rizzo arrived at Illinois State as a quarterback, converted to a linebacker, and in the biggest game of the season for the Redbirds, he has picked off 2 passes.
And right there, you see right there, number 51, Wyatt Bowles gets a hand on the football and knock it up. A good job by the defensive lineman. If you can't get to the quarterback, you're taught to get your hands up in the air. He knocked that ball up in the air, and Mason Kaplan is Johnny on the spot to squeeze the football.
4 interceptions for this Illinois State defense. 1 shy of their 5 at SEMO in the first round last year. And now Wankers right to the ground and to the 41-yard line. Very hard to win a football game against a good team when you turn the ball over 4 times, let alone give the ball in this kind of territory on each one.
And that was a must-score drive for Southeastern right there. And when you look at everything, you can't blame that on the quarterback. He thought he had a seam to throw the football. The defensive lineman just did a good job of reading his eyes, getting his hands up, knocking that ball up in the air, and then your linebackers on the back end, Johnny on the spot, Kaplan able to squeeze that football.
Wankers right again with a seam, and Wankers right into the second level with a first down for Illinois State. He's brought down by Jakiri Jones, not before a gain of 15 yards. Wright, who has 9 career 100-yard games, is one of the great stories in college football. He grew up as an orphan in Haiti playing soccer barefoot, was adopted at age 6 by a family in Indiana. His parents are Sean and Betsy Wright. He's got 4 siblings, earned his bachelor's in 3 years. He's going to get his MBA in May. He's already graduated, of course. He's engaged to be married next year, and yeah, he's a terrific running back on top of all of that. Here he is again, and plunges forward for about 3.5 yards. And the coaching staff couldn't rave enough about him when we were talking to them.
And I don't think people realize when you play soccer, the footwork that you develop as a soccer player. So stepping into the backfield to be as dominant of a back as he is, he's able to dance and make moves and cut and do jump cuts and things that regular backs aren't able to do. And you see the effectiveness of him. He runs behind his pads, but then he's able to be nimble as well.
I'll tell you maybe my favorite fact about him. When NIL launched, he started his own t-shirt brand, WW, in honor of his initials, sent his entire first NIL check to the orphanage in Haiti where he grew up.
Absolutely beautiful.
Pretty
Absolutely
cool.
beautiful.
And now he's trying to raise money for his sister to go to college, which is even better. Here he is again. Straight ahead, plows forward and inside the 20 to about the 18. So Cameron Ford makes the tackle. Goes without saying that Southeastern, at worst, has to hold them to a field goal here, but he's hurt now. This is a guy, I didn't mention this, unfortunately he has battled shoulder injuries all season long. Actually had shoulder surgery a year ago. So Seth Glatz will come into the backfield. He's the 3rd string running back, and that's the last thing you want to see for Wankers Wright, who gets helped off the field. That's a guy who just has overcome so many injuries to go with all he's overcome off the field.
And we haven't seen Dawson since he fumbled the football.
You're right. Glatz the running back, 3rd down and 2. They give it to him. He dives ahead. He's shy of the first down. Seth Glatz, a senior from Morton, Illinois, his 2nd year with the Illinois State program after 2 years at Western Illinois. It's a gain of 1 yard, and if you're Illinois State here, now you roll the dice.
I go for it. I go for it. I don't take the chance at a field goal attempt and getting it blocked. I think you go for it. You're so deep in their territory. You convert this, the game is virtually over.
Well, Southeastern's got all 3 of its timeouts and the 2-minute timeout, but again, just not enough possessions. If you can't get a stop here, it's going to be a big-time uphill battle, and a timeout is called.
First charge timeout
by Illinois State.
Illinois State.
Play clock was ticking down. 3:27 to go. Illinois State facing a huge 4th down and 1. Behind 4 picks today, they've got a lead of 11 on the road. 14-3, Illinois State on top of the 16 seed Southeastern NCAA FCS Championship first round. A huge 4th down and 1 facing the Redbirds. Can near putting this game away with a first down here. Seth Glatz in the backfield behind the quarterback, Tommy Rittenhouse. Can the Lions defense get a stance? They hand it off to Glatz. No, they fake it. It's Rittenhouse keeping. He faked everyone, including me, and he slides it down inside the 10. First and goal to go for Illinois State. That was some kind of fake, and what a play call as well from offensive coordinator Tony Peterson.
And everybody's going for the fake downhill. Everybody's looking at Glatz thinking he has the football. And you see the lead blocker on the outside pressing. A good job by Rittenhouse getting the first down, knowing where the sticks are, and then sliding. You want to keep that clock moving. And we said it would be virtually over now. You know, you never say never, because we just talked about Yale and Youngstown State, which we thought was over. So, but it just doesn't look very good for Southeastern at this point.
Now, meanwhile, Glatz backpedaling his way near the goal line. I think we can say this. If they were to put the ball in the end zone, it is completely over at that point. Southeastern has to hold them to a field goal. And you can't make it a 3-score game.
And we do want to acknowledge for Southeastern, if they aren't able to pull this game out, this is the last game for some of their seniors. You know, we've got some guys that may get another year, but for the majority of the seniors on this ball club, this is the last time they'll be able to put on their uniform and represent their university and play in front of their home fans. And for Illinois State, if they're able to go ahead and pull this out, they go and face a common opponent, a North Dakota State team, which I think, when you think about it, you're a competitor, and you want to play and you want to compete. But when the schedule came out and you saw, it's like, man, could we wait to see them maybe in the championship side of the bracket? You know, but it's one of those teams that won't be scared of the, and I'm not saying that Southeastern would be scared, but it's a team that's familiar with them and that's been there and plays them every season. So it's a different matchup for them if they are able to go ahead and pull this out and get to that game.
Yeah, North Dakota State did beat them October the 4th, 33-16, but that was a long time ago. Rittenhouse with Glatz behind him, first down, actually make it 2nd and goal, and a handoff, and Glatz reaches. Is he in? Looks like they call it just shy.
And that'll be interesting. They may take a second look at this, because that looked like he may have gotten the ball over the end zone.
Southeastern Louisiana, 30 seconds in length.
From our vantage
Set the
point,
game clock to 2 minutes, 33 seconds, 2:33.
from our vantage point, it looked like he got the ball over the goal line. Let's see right here. Well, I think it may be the same thing. That elbow may be down.
That elbow looked really close, and I don't know if you have enough to overturn the call. Glatz, by the way, we mentioned 2 years he played at Western Illinois before coming over to Normal to play with Illinois State. A guy who has fallen behind Dawson and Wright in the backfield a bit, but he'll be asked more now if Wakers Wright can't go. Meanwhile, Rhode Island did beat Central Connecticut. It's 27-19, so the 9 seed moves on. They will play UC Davis next Saturday in a game that will be on ESPN2, so that one's been elevated. And again, North Dakota State awaiting the winner of this one here. Illinois State currently in the driver's seat. North Dakota State, I should say, awaiting the winner. Another goal to go spot, and this time Glatz able to rumble in for the score. So Seth Glatz with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. And Illinois State with the finishing touches on an impressive performance on the road here in Hammond today. 20-3, they go ahead late in the 4th.
Maldonado to attempt the extra point.
Matt Maldonado on for the extra point. And that is away and through.
The extra point is good.
Maldonado has still only missed 1 PAT in his Division I career. A guy who's a great story. He started his career at Division III Wisconsin Whitewater before 3 years at Murray State. 9-play, 46-yard drive. And this will pretty much put it away for Glatz getting in the end zone.
And a good job by the Illinois State offensive line getting movement at the point of attack, keeping a low pad level, firing off with a flat back. And that's exactly what you want to see from your offensive lineman in short yardage situations.
Glatz had one of the great high school careers in Illinois high school football history. He rushed for more than 6,000 yards over 3 years of high school football. These are the key NCAA FCS championship dates. Second round next week. That'll be followed by the one quarterfinal on that Friday, the 12th, 3 games on the 13th. And then the semis with the title game going on January 5th in Nashville, Tennessee. First time in a while it has not been in Frisco, Texas. And again, they're having the newly formed NFL FCS Combine, a really cool opportunity. We talked about Caleb Proctor getting an invite out of the Southland Conference. Great chance for FCS players to see scouts, do some on-field work, and go through meetings with NFL personnel.
And I think he'll also get an invite to the regular combine as well.
I would think so.
The numbers that he's put up, and you saw his playmaking ability on that sack earlier on Rittenhouse.
I'll tell you what, Illinois State didn't play with fire one bit today in terms of Brandon Hayes, who has 2 kick return touchdowns this year, 3 in his career, and didn't let him return a single kick on the day. Now Southeastern down 21-3, just trying to find something here late in this game as their season dwindles down. Kyle Lowe looking to pass, and that one bounced up. That was nearly picked off. Looking in the direction of Dekai Joseph, and the closest man in the area to it was LaShavion Brown. So it brings up 2nd down and 10 for this Southeastern team. It's going to be a rare FCS home playoff loss under Frank Selfo. He had been 3-0 entering this game today. The last time they lost a home playoff game, 2013 against New Hampshire. That was in the quarterfinals when they were the number 4 national seed. And Lowe's got to just dump that one in the turf. He didn't get that ball to the line of scrimmage. They might talk about if there was a receiver in the area. Travis Jones and Garrett Steffen provided the pressure.
And a lot of this has to do with them having 8 in coverage, 3 rushing. Now, you should be able to block 3, but those 8 are doing such a good job on the back end. He doesn't have anywhere to go with the football. So you have to understand with 5 pass.
Offense number 6. The ball did not get back to the line of scrimmage. There was no receiver in the area. Loss of down at the spot of the foul. 3rd down.
So we were just talking about that might be grounding, and it is.
With 5 offensive linemen, you've got to be able to block 3. You've got to be able to give your quarterback time to allow him to find somewhere to go with the football. But in the time that you've got to give him, those receivers have to be able to get open. When there's 8 back in the coverage, they've got to find holes in the zone to be able to sit down for your quarterback to find them.
So after the grounding call, back him up and loss it down. There is DiMaggio. He's got the catch, and he breaks loose along the sideline. First time today he's really been able to get free. And DiMaggio has his 6th grab on the day. His long entering that catch had been 14 yards, and he picks up a gain of 33 there.
And you see now you've given Lowe time that he needs to get the ball down the field. DiMaggio in the open field, you see the big fella able to make a play. A good job by DiMaggio.
So we have reached the 2-minute timeout. 21-3, Illinois State in control, on their way to the 2nd round of the FCS playoffs for a 2nd consecutive season. Well, the game summary. Illinois State scored on their opening drive. They have not trailed. Rittenhouse has been sensational, and the Illinois State defense, 4 picks, 3 by Camp, 1 on Lowe on the Southeastern quarterbacks. Lowe, meanwhile, off the hands of his target, Collier, the tight ends. And it's been that kind of day for Southeastern's offense. Cam Wilson was beating the secondary. So we're under the 2-minute timeout. Illinois State, by the way, is on their way to doing something that is pretty remarkable. They're going to win a 12th road game against FCS opponents in their last 13. That's since the start of last season. It is hard to win on the road. It's hard to win on the road against good teams. I mean, you look at their wins this year away from home, a couple of them are remarkable in themselves. They've got 2 ranked road wins at South Dakota, at South Dakota State. I mean, 2 places, Vermillion and Brookings, that are usually impossible to win at. Lowe backpedaling, lofts it for Collier. He's got that one, and then the ball was jarred free. They're going to say incomplete. So never had full control, and this doesn't look good. Shadwell Kuba is shaken up. That might have been friendly fire on the back ends.
Officials timeout for defensive injury.
Yeah, he ran into his own guy. C.J. Richard Jr. was just in the wrong spot, and Kuba got undercut in a big way.
DA, Shaq, Maxinev.
You know, Kuba, we were talking about great stories on this Illinois State team. He's another one of them, and we'll mention it after we come back. Minute 30 to go in the game. Illinois State up 21-3 as they attend to Shadwell Kuba, a 5th-year senior. Good to see Shadwell Kuba up on his feet. He's a native of Louisville, Texas. 3rd college stop. Began at Tyler Junior College. Transferred in from Louisiana, so he knows the thing about the Bayou State, but he was actually born in the Congo. He came to live in the U.S. to play soccer. Didn't start football until he was in the 8th grade. We talked about him beginning in the JUCO ranks. You talk with Brock Spack, you talk with defensive coordinator Travis Niekamp, and they can't rave enough about the player that he has become. Led the Missouri Valley Football Conference this year with 4 interceptions, and added another one to here today.
And he plays that boundary corner, which is the more difficult corner, because you don't have a lot of safety help over the top. You're pretty much on an island in that boundary.
Lowe looking for DiMaggio. That is incomplete. And so Illinois State on their way to what is going to be a 9th win this season. It's going to be another trip to the 2nd round of the FCS playoffs. That'll be back-to-back years. Under Brock Spack's watch, they have been to at least the quarterfinals on 4 occasions. And they are looking at setting up a date with top-seeded and defending national champion, the 10-time national champion North Dakota State Bison, who all-time in the FCS playoffs, Illinois State is 0-2 against North Dakota State. But here's the amazing stat about those 2 meetings. A combined 8 points in separation, a 9-3 quarterfinal loss in Fargo in 2019, and a 29-27 loss in the 2014 national title game. And this is what North Dakota State has done over the years, including this season. You can see their FCS playoff record, and they have been remarkably tough to beat. But Tell you what, Illinois State has played them about as tough as anybody.
And they're not scared, and they're not fearful of the environment. They look forward to it. As I said, any team will look forward to the opportunity to knock the champs off, but they're very familiar with this environment. And I think because they've played them already, the familiarity makes and sets up for a very interesting football game next week.
Well, Southeastern season is going to come to a close at 9-4. Here's a look at who's won the most FCS championships. North Dakota State, of course, they're 10 in the last 14 seasons. And that will do it as Tommy Rittenhouse falls to a knee, and Brock Spack and the Illinois State Redbirds, for a second consecutive season, they win on the road in round one of the FCS playoffs, and they are headed back to the second round. A friendly greeting between he and Southeastern head coach Frank Selfo, whose team wins 9 games this year for the 3rd time under his watch, second most in school history. But Illinois State, a 21-3 road winner. They have now won 12 of their 13 road games against FCS opponents over the last 2 seasons. And they advance to face top-seeded and defending national champion North Dakota State next week in Fargo. And what will be a rematch of a game from earlier this October, which they lost 33-16 in Normal, Illinois.
And what's interesting about this defense, they came to play today. Last week they gave up 37 points, very uncharacteristic of what they are used to doing. And so they had something to prove out here. And to come in to hold this Southeastern ball club to 3 points at home in the fashion that they did with all of the turnovers that they created, it was a great outing for this defense.
A remarkable effort by his defense. There's one of his leaders, Ty Niekamp. He had 1 of the 4 interceptions by the defense, and we are joined now by Illinois State head coach Brock Spack. Coach, congrats on the win. I know it's always great to get that first playoff win under your belt, to do it on the road, to come into this environment and play as well as you guys did today. Speak about the effort from your team all around to get this done.
Yeah, I thought we played really well today, and particularly on defense. You know, our team had a real sour taste in its mouth after last weekend, and we wanted to fix that. So we played better today, I thought, and played a really good football team, beat a really good team. I was really impressed with this outfit here, and but we move on and go play something we know a lot about.
Coach, talk about that 4th down touchdown to Rittenhouse. Is that a special play you had for this ball game, or have you been holding on to that one?
We've been holding on to that one for a while. Yeah, we practice it every week, but we haven't called it, obviously, and it's really a 2-point play more than it is a touchdown play. But we pulled it out at the right time, I thought.
Coach, no way around it. You're facing the defending national champions. They've won 10 of the last 14 national titles. But you guys in the playoffs have played them tough historically in your time. What does your team have to do to take what you did today and bring it over to Fargo and try to take them down next week?
Well, we're just going to have to, prepare really, really well and look at what happened the last game. And, when you play these guys, they're very, very physical. Like our whole league is very physical, but these guys are at another level. And you can't go in there and half-step. You have to go in and play hard and play physical football, or else you have no chance of winning. So, obviously getting our team, it's kind of like get enough time for preparation, but also get our team ready to play and not beat them up in practice. So that's going to be the key this week. Coach,
12-1 on the road for your group against FCS opponents over the last couple of years. That's a pretty good number.
Pretty good. Yeah, I like that, and we really emphasize that. If you want to be a championship team and play in the postseason, you have to learn to win on the road, and I think our team's done a pretty good job of that here lately.
Hey, congrats on the win. Best of luck next week in Fargo, all right?
Thank you very much. Appreciate you covering us.
Have a
great day.
Illinois State head coach Brock Spack, winningest coach in program history, and they move on to take on top-seeded North Dakota State, who again they have played twice before in the FCS playoffs. A 9-3 loss in Fargo in 2019 in the quarters, and a 2-point loss, 29-27, in the 2014 national title game, where a guy by the name of Carson Wentz, partner, ran in a touchdown with 30 seconds to go as the Bison won that one. But again, to your point, they're not going to go in scared. They know what to expect, and they play like this. Who knows what going to happen next week.
And I think they'll face who I think will be named the Missouri Valley Defensive Player of the Year in Ty Niekamp. The way that he played today, I mean, they're going to have to figure out a way to block him because he's very disruptive. And the rest of this defense, Kaplan, the rest of those guys, the other Niekamp, they have players all over the field at every level that can affect you defensively, and they came to play today, and I expect to see that same defense next week in Fargo.
Well, they are going to face a couple of Peyton Award finalists in quarterback Cole Payton of NDSU and wide receiver Bryce Lance. Yes, the younger brother of Trey Lance. He's got things rolling, too. That'll do it for us, for our partner, Forrest Connolly. Our terrific crew led by Chris Bond and our director as well, and Adam Kilman. I'm Jack Benjamin saying so long from Strawberry Stadium in Hammond, Louisiana. Your final score, Illinois State 21, the 16 seed Southeastern 3. Illinois State on to the second round of the FCS playoffs for a second consecutive season.